Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Curse of Strahd, Twice Bitten, the show where 5 DMs takes on D&D's top gothic horror campaign. I'm Dragnacarta, your host and DM, and I'd just like to start by wishing everyone an extremely happy Halloween. How you feeling? You feeling the spooky spirit?
I am absolutely in the spooky spirit.
I'm
Boo.
feeling spooky and ooky.
I am ready to give children candy with a slingshot.
I'm ready to take that candy from those children.
I am afraid of all of you.
I made a snowman.
Excellent.
Aw.
Beautiful.
A Halloween tradition
Christmas
of
already.
making snowmen.
It is.
Perfect. Unfortunately, you might not find much candy in today's session, but I'll do my best.
Wine is
all right,
candy.
so
Is today
thank you to everyone as
the,
always for continuing to tune in. What's that, Kaya?
Sorry. Is today literally the apples with razor blades inside episode?
Oh,
my
it's always
God.
that episode.
But especially so.
Like the potato chips bags have been ripped open, like they put asbestos inside, as you do.
Oh, insulation, what I've always wanted.
All right. Unfortunately, I do have some bad news. Despite the happy Halloween occasion, Serena, who plays Kiva, will unfortunately not be able to join us today due to personal obligations. But we thank her very much for all her help in setting this episode up, and we hope she has a wonderful day. We will hopefully see her back in a week or two. Before we get started, real quick, Kaya, you just wanted to mention something?
Yes, the Twice Bitten Curse of Strahd revamped box set giveaway has ended. We have drawn the winner already, and the giveaway results will be announced after the break. So please stay tuned. And just a reminder, the lucky winner is going to have 24 hours to get in contact with the with our official Twitter account to confirm their win. So that's exciting. Stay tuned for that.
Thank you, Kaya. And Jack, you had something to mention regarding today's break, right?
I do. For those who know and don't know, Halloween is traditionally, or was traditionally, a day to honor the dead. So in the Halloween spirit, we will be honoring fallen player characters who fell in Barovia. So stay tuned during the break. We're going to have a bit of a video, a March of the Dead memorial video. So yeah, maybe you'll see your PCs who died there. We'll see.
All right. Thank you, Jack and Kaya. With that, I think that's everything preliminary out of the way. So let's get started with Curse of Strahd, Twice Bitten. All right, everyone. So, last we left off on Curse of Strahd, Twice Bitten. In search of safety and eventual escape from the darkened land of Barovia, the travelers arrived in Vallaki, a fortified town at the center of the Barovian Valley. Their hopes were dashed, however, by a midnight attack by Strahd and his minions that left the Blue Water Inn heavily damaged and destroyed the sense of sanctuary the PCs had attained. After regrouping and assisting the Martikuvs with cleanup, the group learned that the inn faced a looming wine shortage. A shipment from the nearby Wizard of Wines Winery, it seemed, had gone missing. The PCs, eager to spend time away from Vallaki, and perhaps learn more about the lands beyond, agree to investigate. The following day, after commissioning a pair of local hunters named Soldar and Yevgeny to serve as guides in the Barovian wilderness, the travelers joined Lady Fiona Wachter, a mysterious local noble, for dinner at her estate. There, they learned of her dissatisfaction with Vallaki's burgomaster, a man named Baron Vargas Vallakovich, and her distaste for the false happiness he enforced throughout the town. They learned that Lady Vachter's family bore a personal grudge against the Vallakovich clan for harms visited upon her daughter, Stella, and Lady Wachter entreated them to eliminate Izek Strozny, the Baron's right-hand man and top enforcer, to clear the way for new leadership. Despite this, Lady Vachter's clear ambitions and evident loyalty to Strahd von Zarevich, the vampiric lord of Barovia, loomed large in the conversation, and the PCs promised little more than consideration of her proposals. The following morning, at dawn, on the day that Vallaki was to hold the Festival of the Blazing Sun, the party prepared themselves to journey to the winery. Before they could depart, however, Ismark and Irina arrived to bid them farewell. Irina took Kiva aside for a quiet, apologetic, but empathetic conversation. Together, the PCs set off down the old Svalich road alongside their guides, passing by old trails and forgotten roads that led to the Vistani encampment outside Vallaki, the ruined town of Berez, and an old haunted mansion. Despite a sudden encounter with a werewolf in human form, the party made their way safely to the exterior of the Wizard of Wines. As they approached the vineyard from a mist-shrouded meadow, however, a cloaked figure emerged from the woods and beckoned them toward the trees. And so, Soldar and Yevgeny pause, halting their movement and exchanging glances before looking back at you. They wait expectantly.
How far out is this cloaked figure?
Not far. Maybe a few dozen yards away. Just you were standing basically at the very edge of the vineyard, and to the right side of the vineyard, you can often the side of the meadow, you can see this cloaked figure standing just at the edge of the tree line.
And just watching us?
Yeah.
Appears to be beckoning you toward it.
Earthendeer is going to share a look with the others and ask, this could very easily be a trap.
Oh, you think a cloaked figure just standing out in the middle of nowhere? Yeah, I mean, I would have guessed, but what do we do, though?
No, this seems too obvious to be a trap. You remember all of those people who were watching us in the middle of Vallaki? They took pains to not be noticed, and they would disappear as soon as we tried to acknowledge them. I think the fact that these people are beckoning us means something.
You think they want like help or something? You think this is maybe they work at the winery?
I mean,
Perhaps.
It's a decent shout. Just keep your wits about you, I guess.
All right, but if it turns into a werewolf and bites my neck out, I'm blaming one of yous.
You're welcome to it.
Lillison looks at Yevgeny and Soldar. Will you be coming with us?
They exchange looks and shrug. Does not look like werewolf. Up to you. We are paid to guide, so we will guide. So long as you don't do anything stupid.
We will try and avoid it.
But
With that in mind, Amity is going to approach the cloaked figure and wave an arm. Hello?
There's a pause, and the figure you can see the cowled head, and you see a man's face and figure from a distance. So you can't make out the fine details, kind of turn slightly toward you. There's a pause, and then the beckoning resumes, looking slightly more impatient.
Well then. And Earthrendir is going to kind of step up to a trot and head towards it.
All right, Soldar and Yevgeny shrug, glance toward the others to see if you're doing the same.
Metreon is kind of hanging towards the back of the party with presumably Kiva, but we'll go with them if they go.
All right. With that, as you make your way, following Earthrendir, Soldar and Yevgeny following in line behind you, the two hunters kind of tightening the bows on their backs and cautiously making their way behind you. You approach the edge of the tree line. You can see there of trees, a grove of sorts, north of the vineyard. And as you head toward the cloaked man, as soon as you close into a distance of perhaps a few, maybe a dozen yards or so, you hear rustling in the trees, and several other figures emerge from the grove.
Hand crossbow.
You pull out your handball crossbow, viewing the figures, but as you do, you can actually see among them, they don't appear to be monstrous, but human. There appear to be several of them. Among them, each of them wearing dark leather raincloaks and cowls, and you see actually some small figures amongst them, which seem to be children.
When I see the kids, I'll keep the hand crossbow out, but I'll tuck it closer, like underneath my jacket.
As you do, the man that you were approaching rumbles out. Put that away, lad. Don't need no fucking shooting going on tonight.
Yeah, well, I don't know what your story is, so let's just keep it casual then, yeah?
At this point, as you approach within visual distance, you can see that the man who beckoned you appears to be an elderly male with a mid-length white beard down over his neck and long, straggly white hair that pulls down over the left side of his face and head. He's wearing a long green cloak with wide sleeves that droop from his bronzed hands. You can see along the cloak's shoulder 3 silver medallions that glint there, and several others dangling from his sleeves. Oddly enough, there seems to be a gleaming silver tea kettle hanging from rope at his belt next to an overstuffed pouch. His face, though, is weather-worn from what seems like many years of scowls, matching the worn calluses on his hands and knuckles. His brow furrows as you approach, his eyes darting from each of you as he leans forward, balancing his weight across the top of an intricately carved cane that's painted in browns and yellows that seems to be carved to look like sprouting vines and leaves. His bare feet curl in the muddy earth, and you can see a number of black raven feathers that whisper slightly in the soft wind that whispers through the meadow as they poke from his hood and the top of his left shoulder's cloak. As he leans forward toward you, surveying your approach, you can see a small glint of light from a glittering blue ring on his right middle finger. So, I got a question for you lot. Who the fuck are you? And what the fuck are you doing at my winery? You see the other figures around him kind of frowning and glancing over you. You can see there appears to be an unremarkable man of middle age next to him, and next to a slightly younger man, next to a middle-aged woman holding a small baby in her arms, and a tall Barovian man with a shock of white gold hair next to her. The children, a teenager and 2 young boys, seem to be watching you slightly quietly, standing behind the woman.
What time of day is it?
Right now, it's around late morning, I would say.
Okay. Lillison will step forward, giving Metreon's hand crossbow a quick look, then a look back up at Metreon and a tiny nod, and then she'll turn her attention to the old man. And she'll give him a brief, small smile, but return to sort of a business-like expression as she says, "We're a group of travelers, foreigners to these lands. We were passing through Vallaki, and the owner there, a Mr. Erwin Martikov, asked us to come by here and inquire about a shipment of wine that seems to have been missing."
Davian scoffs and then spits on the ground. That little shit. But he's right, or at least not wrong. We have had few issues with the wine. I'm guessing he sent you lackeys to make sure he got his, yeah?
Yeah.
Right. Well, if you're looking for wine, we ain't got none. At least not out here. Not since a bunch of fucking trees wandered into our winery and took it.
Wait, what?
What?
I'm sorry?
Yeah, you fucking heard me. Bunch of little plant things wandered in there. Bunch of druids. Bunch of bastards seem to be leading them. Couldn't do fucking much all.
Earthendeer kind of straightens up. So they just stormed into the place and what? Sacked it? Killed people? What did they do?
He grimaces and looks around at the people around him. Where you begin to believe this is probably a singular family unit. Thankfully, didn't get no one, but now we're out here and there and there. No surprise there ain't no wine.
Metreon looks over at Amity and not necessarily whispering, but just kind of keeping it to the two of them. What the fuck is up with Barovia people taking wine?
I don't know. Like,
Trees and wolves?
So, I guess she raised her voice now. I guess we're just going to go back and report that trees took over.
Not trees as such. Got a bunch of little bastards. Some of them look like little saplings. Don't notice them till they're fucking clawing you in the thigh. Got these little, like, needly ones. They shoot you full of thorns. I think I saw one that looks like a whole bunch of vines walking down like it fucking owned the place.
When was this?
A few days ago. No more than 2 now, but they've been heckling our vineyard and our stores for a number of days now. And a good lot, I'll tell you that.
I mean, evidently, but have they just been squatting in there? Are they burning things? Have you seen what they're doing?
Have I seen what they're doing? Fuck no, I'm out here trying to keep my fucking family safe. What the fuck do you think I'm doing?
Oi, how long you been out here then?
Long enough. And at this point, the middle-aged man beside him kind of steps forward. It's been about 2 days since they came and drove us out. It's been, well, we've done our best, but that's our home as well as our place of work.
And how have you all been getting by then?
He frowns, and the woman holding the infant in her arms coughs. We've been getting by, but it's not easy on most days. Everything we need is in there.
Yeah, but I mean, these woods is famous for being, extra dangerous, especially at night. So, how you getting on, especially during the night, if it's been at least 2 of them?
The first man, the older man wearing the dark green cloak and the staff, turns toward you. Listen here, boy. We've been out here living our way in the woods for a long time. We know how to keep ourselves up. It's what's in there that's the problem.
DM, this sounds sus to me. There's something about them looking like humans at least, and being able to survive not only 1 but 2 nights outside of their winery in the woods. I want to know if they're not necessarily. I want to know if they're like telling the truth, but if there's something that they're keeping back, like omitting from that.
All right, make an insight check.
Okie doke. Ooh, 9. Okay.
Ugh.
9, he's hard to read. His, brows just furrowed, his eyes just dark and seeming pretty suspicious. Doesn't seem to be giving much away.
Okay, noted.
You said a bunch of druids came in here. Are they like neighbors? Do they live around here? I was not aware that was a population.
Dark lot, dirty fuckers. They got their own. They're all over the woods. The forest folk they are, but usually they keep it themselves. This lot didn't fucking seem like it. Came out of them trees looking for trouble, and I dare say they fucking found it.
Evidently. Earthendeer kind of gives a quiet look to the others and then turns around to face Davian. Well, did you get an idea on how many of them there were?
He frowns. I don't know. Maybe a couple. No more than 5. But like I said, ain't been spending too much time in there.
I know. I'm not expecting you to, but just as you were running, that's helpful information. Thank you.
I'm so sorry about these trees, and I hope they clear up soon. But I guess the Blue Water Inn is just going to need to find some other wine for now.
Heh. He ain't gonna find no fucking wine, except maybe from them Vistani. And they don't train it none too frequent.
All right. In that case... You said little plant creatures. Are they... Do you know where they went, by chance?
He shrugs. Look, me and my family, we made our way out of there best we could. Didn't get a sense to get a clear, good look at exactly where all the little fuckers went, alright?
All right.
And you notice that, like, every time he says fucker, like, the woman holding the baby kind of, like, glares at him. But he seems entirely oblivious to this.
Oh, Earthendeer takes note of this and internally smiles. All right. Excuse me for a moment. And he's going to kind of turn back to the others and lower his voice. Should we do something?
I don't know. They seem pretty self-sufficient, given that they spent 2 nights in this fucking wood.
This isn't our responsibility.
I mean,
Metreon, no wine. Ever.
No wine from them. We still gotta go talk to those Vistani.
with what money?
I mean, I can be very persuasive in other ways.
I have no doubt of it. But even so, okay, put the wine issue aside. This is, a tavern without wine is probably going to put our only place to stay out of business.
I mean,
That's not good for anyone.
Randy, Amity, you ever heard of these fucking things before? Walking trees and all that?
Have we?
Are you asking for some kind of check there?
I'm asking Amity and Randy if they've ever heard of these kind of creatures.
And I'm asking the DM if I can know, or if I do know.
I would say, Earthendeer, if you'd like to make, this would be an Arcana or Nature check, your choice.
Got you.
I've heard of talking trees, but never walking trees.
Never heard of walking. 18. Well, I've heard of walking trees, but never talking trees. Where'd you find talking trees?
There's one at like Cinderella's grave. Anyway, what about the walking ones?
Oh, yeah. So what do I know with an 18?
All right, so with an 18, you've heard of walking trees, perhaps not, but the descriptions you've heard of these vine and thorn and sapling-like creatures, you've heard stirrings of them. You actually recall some reports from some explorers who were looking around the ruins of Thunder Tree, a ruin to the north of the path that you were traveling a while back, told of something that you heard of called blights. Some sort of awakened or empowered form of plant matter, gifted with some form of mobility and dark but basic intelligence. They are contaminants. They are forest and wilderness twisted to dark corruption and moved to hostility and aggression to living creatures that wander upon their lands. They drink from darkness of the places from whence they come from, and attempt to spread that evil and malevolence in all places that they wander. They are dark creatures, but of not great intelligence. But together, with sufficient numbers, they can prove a formidable horde.
Erthrindir kind of puts his chin in his hands and shudders. Well, they're nasty business. Bits of forest twisted by dark magic. Now, they're not much on their own, but if we run into a bunch, we are going to need somewhere to hide, because you don't want a walking... Heck, you don't want a walking pumpkin patch coming at you, let alone a walking forest. So, we should be careful.
They did say there were only about 5 of these druid people, right?
Yeah, that's about that.
That's not so many. And Metreon, you can be very persuasive.
Wait, listen, are you trying to convince us to go in?
I don't think I could be persuasive with plants. I mean, my powers of persuasion really kind of only extend to, people. Sometimes dogs.
Not with the plants, with the people who went in with them. But I did not spend my last 5 gold to bring us here so that we can turn around and go back and tell Erwin, oh, I'm sorry, we can't deliver on this, and then have to pay up our room bill as well.
Erthrindir goes suddenly pale as he remembers he does not have the money to pay the room bill.
Oh, but wait. Listen, we can't... This is clearly an act of nature. So, I mean, they got to be understanding, right?
No, it's an act of dark magic.
Yeah, but it's natural, right? It's trees and shit.
I'm sure
Nope.
they would be understanding, but all the understanding in the world doesn't put more wine in those barrels you love so much, Metreon.
We didn't stop using that against me, you know that?
I'm just stating facts.
Listen, it seems like you're trying to persuade us to go in, so I feel like you want to go in. And I wonder why, because you're giving everyone sort of different reasons.
At this point, the older man in the green cloak kind of coughs. You lot need a minute? Or you want to go on a little therapy session right here?
Erthrindir shoots him a glare. We are... Sir, we are trying to figure something out that may help you. So if it does turn out that we can, then I would appreciate a little more quiet and a little less backsass.
He snorts, and the Barovian man with kind of like the white gold hair that you saw earlier sighs. You will have to excuse my father-in-law. He can be a bit prickly. We appreciate what you're trying to do here, really.
Oh, no, so can I. I understand it. I just know well enough not to leave it be. Gotta poke back. But thank you. Now, pardon us, we gotta continue our therapy session.
He nods with a chuckle of his own and turns back and begins discussing something in a low voice with the woman beside him.
I think Amity has a point. Why... I'm with you, Lillison, for the record. I think we should do this, or at least try, but why? Why are you interested?
Perhaps it's just because I want to do something about something for once. We've been running and cowering for quite long enough. And if we can't really strike back against the one we want to strike back against now, at least the least we can do is go in and fetch some wine.
At this, you hear Kiva clearing her throat. Look, I don't know exactly what's going on here or where these walking trees or whatever they are came from, but look, you said that these things are dark magic, right? And
Yep.
you know that there's one dark fucker at the top of all this, and anything that we can do to stick a knife in his eye, I'm here for. So, that's just my 2 cents, but I'm with Lillison.
Thanks, Kiva. And yeah, and I am too. I think we need to do something for a variety of reasons. Now, the difference is between this and Death House is if, or I'm sorry, that's what I've been calling in my head, from the Durst's house.
Oh no, I completely understand.
Yeah, it's the fucking Death House.
It really is that if things go bad, we can leave. I mean, I presume.
Yeah, you presume, because, you know,
I mean,
it's
we
fucking
thought-
Barovia.
We
Point
thought
taken.
that last time as well.
If mists are going to start surrounding us every time we enter a building, then I think we have bigger problems. But I do get.
Has anyone ever told you that you laugh at the most inappropriate times?
Yes, actually, number of occasions.
Metron turns to Amity. What do you think?
I think that if there's 5 of them and 5 of us, but they also have X trees and we have 0 trees, then they have the advantage. But even if they didn't, this is questering stuff. This is like fighting. This is the kind of thing people with no life do.
She's
I'm
got a good
sorry,
point.
people with what?
I mean, no one goes adventuring if they have something else. Right?
I mean, yeah, if they do, it's kind of selfish, isn't it?
Yeah, if you've got a family and friends to come back to, then
No.
fairly.
All sorts of people go adventuring for their family and friends in order to help them and save them.
Point taken, but we're not exactly questing for the Grail of Eternal Youth, are we? So that we can nurse our sickly brother back to life after he's been stomped on by an ox cart.
No,
And we
we are
can't-
here so that we don't have to pay our inn bill. That's it.
Erthrindir just kind of apparently just loses his shit at this.
All right.
Nobility!
Amity turns this over in her mind and is like, all right, you know what? Same deal as before. We go in, we try to get it, but if we're outnumbered, I'm turning around, even if it's just me.
Oh, no, don't worry, love. I'll be right behind you. But listen, if we're going to do this, we need to talk to them. We need to get any kind of secret entrances from them, any kind of avenues that we can traverse this place. We need to be quiet. We need to be stealthy. We need to just get in, get out, get that wine. Come on out.
Erthrindir nods.
I
Damn
am
sensible.
so proud of you.
Oh, bugger off now.
Wilson grins and then turns towards the guides, if they're still around, and she says, "Will you be coming with us?"
They exchange a quick look, and then Soldar shakes his head. We were hired for the guide. This is not the guide. We will wait here if you go in. We've been paid, so up to you, but is not part of job description.
Ah, well, that is fair enough.
But you will wait here for when we come out.
Soldar shrugs again. If you come out before nightfall, we wait. Else, we head back to Vallaki. No point in staying out in this cursed land after sundown.
Well, that's 8 hours. We'll be fine. Thank you.
He shrugs. You paid? We stay. And he turns back to his friend.
Incredibly brusque lot, those two.
Yeah, I mean, at least they're true to their word. It's so far. You know, if we come out and they're not, you know, then we've got other things to deal with. But
Yep, we can be mad at them after we pick the needles out of our wounds.
oh, come on, man.
I'm sorry, I can't turn it off.
Well, Lil, since you was the one who was so stoked to get in there, why don't you just maybe front this one? Yeah, maybe guide us into this.
You know what? It would be my pleasure. And she's going to turn to not the really old guy, but the slightly more friendly younger man who was next to him and say, "Excuse me."
Yes, he turns away from the older man. Forgive me, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh, not at all. We would like to offer our help in at least seeing what is going on with this force invading your home. Would you be able to tell us just a few things about the layout of your home? Anything we should be concerned about, keep our eyes out for, anything like that?
He nods. I would be more than happy to give you a basic idea of the layout. It's not overly complex.
That would be most helpful, thank you.
Of course, any kind of steps forward and points toward the winery. If you take a look from here, you can somewhat see, and you can see that, situated in the midst of the vineyard, he's pointing toward the winery itself, which appears to be an old 2-story stone building with multiple entrances, thick ivy covering every wall, and iron fencing along its roof line. You can see that the trail that you left continues forward, ending at an open loading dock on the ground floor. You can see that beside that, there's a wooden stable of more recent construction attached to the east side of the winery, next to the loading dock. And west of the winery, you can see a crumbling well and a wooden outhouse. The man coughs. Right. Well, you can see the loading dock there. There are a pair of doors in there that lead into the main room with the fermentation vats that we use. Off on the right side there, by the well, do you see the those half barrels, those tubs of sorts on that little pavilion?
Yes, I think I can just make them out.
Yes, that there's the veranda. That also has a set of doors leading into the fermentation vats, but at least one of them are chained shut, the big ones. You won't be able to get through that way. We locked them up before we left. I don't know if the smaller door there is barred shut as well, but it might be.
Any upper windows that could theoretically be jimmied or pried open?
He frowns. There are a number of windows. If you look on the top level and he points up, that's where the living quarters are. A bit of a dining area, a few bedrooms, and the room with the loading winch as well, right above the loading dock.
Are they locked?
I mean, they're closed. I'm not sure how you'd get up there, but...
Earthendeer grins. We'll find a way.
He coughs. Right, yes. There's that door up there. Do you see just to the right of the loading dock? That one leads into a barrel workshop. I'm not sure if it's accessible or not at the moment. You can also, if you head around the right side, there's just past the outhouse and the well, there's an entrance into the storage area that also leads into the fermentation vats. Most of the first floor is that chamber. And if you go around the back side, there's another trail that heads off into the southern part of the vineyard that leads into our glassblower workshop, where most of the bottles are made. But I'm not sure how accessible that one is.
There anywhere in particular in the building that would be storing, say, a lot of valuables that the druids might be looking at?
That's... And at that point, the old man scoffs. They're not here for fucking valuables.
How do you know?
She fixes you with like a steady kind of like gray-eyed glare. Believe me, I know. They're here to fuck us over and fuck up our vineyard. They've done enough damage, and they're dead fucking set on keeping us out and fucking up all those folks we'd make shipments to.
What'd you do to piss them off?
Fuck if I know. They're just a bunch of pieces of crap.
Can I see if that's truthful?
Make an insight check.
Yep. Poorly.
Oh, yeah.
19.
All right. Well, as you look at him, he seems to be. There's a bit of a, not a quaver in his voice, but a bit of a. You get the sense that on the topic of the druids and why they came to the winery, he seems to be confident in what he's saying. He doesn't seem to be... But regarding about whether he knows, you see a glance of some bit of insight in his eyes that is quickly shoved back down.
Sir, if we're going to help you, we need every bit of information we can. I'm not walking into what might be a death trap without knowing why.
He scoffs and kind of like leans forward on his cane, his eyes kind of like glaring, and then the man beside him puts a hand on his shoulder. Father, please. He turns toward you. Look, suffice it to say that the druids of these woods have been bad neighbors of ours for a very, very long time. Usually tensions have not boiled over to this point, but for whatever reason, they've decided that now is the time to, well, take bad neighboring to a more advanced level, shall we say. We've been doing our best to keep our livelihood going, but when you have creatures such as them who live off of whatever corruption they've assembled in the woods, it's unfortunately no surprise that they would seek to do this much harm to the shipments we give to Barovia. There's often little light in many of the taverns across the land, save for what our shipments can bring, and I fear that if these druids have their way, a lot of that... I mean, it's not much, and gods know it may not be entirely healthy, but if the druids have their way and the forest folk see this shipment shut down, a good amount of that light will be shut out of our towns for a very long time.
Thank you. That's significantly more helpful.
The older man grunts and kind of like rolls his eyes but doesn't say anything.
All right. Everybody, Metreon, Lillison, y'all, I presume, know more about this business than I do. If you were going to pick an entrance location with what we've got, where would you go?
Well, I mean, typically, you want to go somewhere that's not it's not entirely obvious to whoever's inside.
All right. That rules out the central room.
Yeah, you don't want to just go busting in through the front door. But you got that grappling hook, right?
Indeed, I do. Oiled it last night.
Oh, well, I mean, we could maybe try traipsing up one of these walls and sneaking in through one of the windows. At least someone could do reconnaissance, maybe look inside, see if there's any activity, and then if there ain't, we could just slip in and, there's the other option too. Maybe some people taking one point, and other people taking other points. Kind of break it up and then come meet in the middle.
That... Go ahead, Amity.
What is our end game? Fellow people whose lives are worth as much as a stay at the inn? Is it burning down the trees and scaring away the druids? Is it knocking them all out? Is it coming to a peaceful resolution?
Personally, my preferred endgame would be to make enough of a sudden and unexpected show of force that whoever is there is willing to bargain with us. But
no, listen, there's 5 of them, and they got talking trees or walking trees. I don't think show of force is going to do it. Got to divide and conquer, right? You just got to take them out one by one if that's the way you want to do it. That, or we just ignore them. We get in, get some wine, and get out.
We're not moving a cask anywhere fast.
Well, we don't got to do it fast. We just got to do it quietly.
Either.
No.
We're not doing it. We're not doing it either way.
No, that attitude.
At this point, you hear kind of a thoughtful sigh from Kiva, and she kind of looks around the room. I don't know how much I remember from our little Amity's little game when we were walking to Vallaki, but if we are talking about dealing with these folk inside the winery, who here has actually killed before? Because that might, it might be a bit of an issue.
Biggest
listen,
thing. Go ahead.
Lillison sighs. All right. I have. It wasn't entirely on purpose. But I'm certain I could do it again.
Metron raises his brows and kind of gives this oh shit look towards Lillison.
As I said, I would prefer to solve this with a little bit of violence and then a lot of talking. But if that is not possible, we have so many other options before us.
Actually, that's a thought. Mr. Mardukov, do y'all share a language? Because the druids I knew way back when kind of had their own thing going.
Actually, at that, which one are you addressing?
He's addressing the younger, nicer Mr. Mardukov.
Gotcha. I actually don't believe he's introduced himself yet.
He is
has
not.
he?
Neither of them have, I believe.
Do we even know that these are Mardukovs?
I think we can
I don't
presume.
believe so.
They said we... Huh. Sorry.
We don't know who they are. They could be. They could be. They could be. This could be an ambush.
Point.
We got to keep our wits about us.
So, could you reiterate your question?
Have you been able to talk to these people before? Because a lot of the... If they don't participate in y'all's, like... Do y'all share a language?
The man frowns. As far as I know, I think they might speak some rudimentary common. I know that they've
good.
got their own language that they tend to rely on, but unfortunately I've not got over much experience. The most that we experienced when they came the preceding night was get out and things along those lines. So
Interesting. So,
but they do seem to have a rudimentary grasp at the very least.
Okay, so that actually good to know. Means we're probably not going to do too well with complex negotiations and with the language barrier.
And that's when you hear the older man clearing his throat. Right, so before we go any further, seeing as you lot are scouting what you can for information about our home, I think I'd like to know, who the bloody hell are you?
Metron leans in to the others. Who are we?
I don't even know. I think it doesn't. We're... I
Feels
don't
like a
think-
very existential question.
Well, yes.
We're just strangers who were brought here by circumstance.
Right. Nameless strangers, I bet. Your mother's
Oh,
never
no.
cared enough.
Oh no, we have names. That's just not the question you asked.
Right, well, fine, little Miss Smart. What's your fucking name, then?
My name is Lillison Smartypants.
Your parents must have fucking hated you. They didn't change that last one.
Yes, they did.
Metron tries to
Good for
stifle a
them.
laugh, but he keeps laughing.
And what
Yeah.
about your name, Purple Boy?
I'm in my disguise.
Sorry.
Yeah, rule of thumb is I'm usually in my disguise unless it's private.
Fair enough.
But my
Crossbow
name
boy, then.
is this devilishly handsome boy. My name is Metrion Malfoy.
Right. And you lot?
Amity.
Marathon Deer. Last name got lost in the war.
So we got a war hero here, do we?
Something like that.
Right. And he glances toward Kiva, who coughs. My name's Kiva. Just Kiva is fine. He grunts and nods, and his son, the man beside him, nods as well. Yes, my name is Adrian Martikov, and this is my father, Davian. The rest of our family, Elvia, and he nods toward the younger man, and our sister Stefania, nodding to the woman with the infant in her arms. And the kind of like white blonde man beside her pipes up with a grin. And Dag, don't forget Dag. Adrian chuckles. Yes, of course. Thank you, Dag. Regardless, of my father's brusque behavior. We do appreciate what you're doing. Is there anything more that we can provide regarding information or layout or anything of that matter? Truly, we do appreciate it.
I mean, if you have some force of arms, help might be welcome, but I understand you've got a family here, so that...
He kind of winces. Not as much. Our family's not really fighters, as a respect, but I will say that should you find any in the winery, I don't know how much help there'll be, but our winery has a bit of a tradition with a number of the local fauna. You might find that you might have some help, but you might not.
Helpful. Well, but thank you. Alright, so plan. If I remember correctly, we were either gonna sneak in and try and take these people out one by one, or have somebody go in to surveil and then all burst in a show of force.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to go ahead and surveil, that'd be a real peach.
Hmm.
You're the one with the grappling hook and all that.
Yes, I'm also not exactly the best at being low-key. I mean, I'm alright with it, but not great.
Lillison is actually gonna put her hand lightly on Metrion's arm and tug him aside for a bit.
Oh. Okay.
Metrion. All right. I don't know what sort of stage magic you performed for your livelihood, but from everything I can gather, you are no stranger to subtlety and the shadows, are you?
I mean, if what you're implying is that I try to keep a low profile, then yes, I do sometimes.
Sometimes, yes. Do you think you would be able to?
Oh no, you're
scout around
not.
unnoticed?
No, you're not. No, you're not putting this on me. I agreed with it. I agreed to go in with you, but I'm not. I'm not putting my ass out in the front lines there.
I'm not trying to put it on you. I'm trying to figure out whether you would be better at it than I am.
Oh no, you seem pretty nimble, right?
Well, I'm considerably out of practice, but seems not at all the wise thing to give a task to a novice if there's a master around.
Metron kind of sucks at his teeth a bit, trapped by her ploy, to stroke his ego. Master, you say? I mean, I can be good at climbing when I need to be, but my incentive's a bit, got taken away by a wolf, a werewolf, So, I don't know if I really want to do this. God, what do you want me to do?
What do I want you to do?
Yes, because I clearly don't want to do it.
Well, I thought the plan was to approach this place stealthily as possible and then have somebody reconnoiter.
Yeah, but I mean, I didn't want to be at the front of that. I just wanted to, it was more of just a state of matter, just like we all got to be quiet, not just saying, oh, we're all going to be quiet, and I'm going to lead you all as the stealthiest person in the party. No, that's not. Don't misinterpret my words here.
She just spreads her hands and says, "No, very well. I am wondering how difficult it will be to actually get to the structure, but I think that once we're there, we can talk about potentially splitting up, having some people look out before everybody else. I do not trust these fields, though.
Yeah, I don't quite trust these winery folk either. But I mean, maybe if we just do a 360 around it, scope it out, um, see if there's any activity that we should specifically avoid, and then maybe take it from there. I don't know. I don't fucking do this. I'm just. This is
All
very
right.
frustrating.
All right, let's get through the fields first. Reach the building. Let's all see what we can see, and then discuss further when we're there.
Fine.
She pats Metreon lightly on the shoulder, and turns back to everybody else.
Mitron kind of throws her a bit of a glance, realizing just now that she's been in physical contact with them not once but twice, but will then follow.
What do you got?
All right, so the beginnings of my plan, it is only a beginning. And I would like to hear any feedback you might have on it, is we go together through the fields leading up to the house. I don't know what might be lurking there. We did hear the stories about things that throw needles into your legs. But yes, once we get there, I think we should perhaps try to split up a bit, see what we can see, just evade notice as long as possible. And once we have more information there, we can discuss further.
That works for me.
You hear Davian clearing his throat. So, you're gonna wade through the vineyard?
Do you have an alternative you'd suggest? Because we'd love to hear it.
Yeah, you've been so helpful so far.
Right, well, just so you know, the longer you're out there, the longer anything up in that winery might see you coming.
Is there, to be clear, is the tree line closer to the winery on any of the other sides, or is it pretty much equidistant?
It's pretty much equidistant.
Damn it. All right. Maybe we should go from the side of the building then. That way there's less windows. Yeah.
Yes, less windows.
Yeah, actually, just double checking the map. You're kind of like at a small grove that's separate from the main Svalich woods. This is probably the closest. Like the grove is only here at like this western side of the winery. This is kind of like the narrowest point, and then you can see that the grove kind of ends toward the west and the east, and that the vineyard just kind of extends further away from it in those other directions. So there's not really a tree line. This grove just kind of ends, and then the actual tree line of the Svalich woods is quite a bit further away, maybe a half mile.
Okay, that's good to know. Well, there's going to be a mess.
You got that thing that you do, right?
I have quite a few things I do with varying degrees of proficiency. Which one are you thinking?
You know the one. I mean, the one where we can like walk around and we're extra stealthy.
Oh, invisibility. Yeah. I can.
Well, that too, but no, like you got that thing where you throw some dust or whatever, and it makes us look like we're extra. What's it called?
Oh, yes. Yeah, I can do a silent image.
No.
It's
Like you can walk around with things. You can walk around with people, and you do it for all of us. It's not just for you; it's for all of us.
Oh, a vicious mockery!
God damn it!
Okay. So Oh, you mean like inspiration? Like just kind of when I tell. Yeah, I can do that.
Metreon places his thumb and his index finger very tightly around the bridge of his nose and sighs deeply.
Use your words.
I've been using my words.
Use your words better.
I don't.
Charade it out.
It's what you did for us, or maybe didn't do. I don't remember quite well. That thing, we like. It just makes us extra stealthy. Extra sneaky.
Nobody knows that we are.
That's not a thing I can... I think you might be thinking of somebody else. I mean, I can do that, but I don't have the spell for it. So, sorry.
So you can do
I
it,
can do
but
that
you
for
can't
one of
do
you.
it.
Yes. It's complicated.
Right. All right. Well.
Right.
Well, Amity, Truffle, stick to the back then, or stick in the middle on it. Just wherever's easiest for you all.
Or maybe we should make sure Amity's always with somebody who can, help her move if things go pear-shaped.
Kiva
That's
raises
a
a hand.
good
I don't
point.
mind, love. Just stick close to me, and I'll make sure that nothing bad happens. And
Thank
you'll
you,
watch my back,
Kiva.
yeah?
Right, in case we have to get out of there fast.
Yep. Also, Truffle, no eating the wine grapes. Those are not for you.
He snuffles slightly unhappily and defiantly from Amity's pack.
I mean it, Buster Brown. No, he does not say that. Well, all right. Well, shall we then?
Wait, who's going to be? Sorry, are we still climbing in a window here?
We're getting to the building and then surveying our options from there first.
All right, got it. Let's go.
Quiet and fast.
Lillison will go in front.
Earth and Deer will be right behind her.
All right. With that, are the group of you making your way toward the winery?
Yes, we are.
Attempting to do so quietly.
As
Yes.
quietly as possible.
Yeah.
All right. You gather together, glancing and giving nods of farewell towards Soldar and Yevgeny. Begin trudging your way forth through the vineyard toward the winery ahead. Davian and Adrian nod and together with their family kind of step back toward the edge of the stand of trees and quietly watch you go as the mist slowly swirls across the surface of the vineyard. A chill breeze winds through the air, causing many of the stalks and vines to sway faintly as you begin trudging your way across the grass back toward the path that leads toward the structure. You can see in the midst of the vineyard the old two-story stone building coming into closer view, the thick ivy, a dark green against its wooden stone construction. You follow the trail forward. You can see the wooden doors of the stable coming into closer view, as well as the loading dock. You can see that as you pass forward, the veranda and the overhanging structure casts dark shadows over the tubs below, and as you make your way across the path cutting through the vineyard, you can see that the vines around you, once likely a lush green, have begun to yellow and crack, even turning black or brown in some cases. Several of the vines appear sickly or near dead, their grapes shriveled or rotting on the vine. As you continue moving forward, the winery coming closer, Lillison, you notice what seem to be a set of clawed footprints crisscrossing the muddy earth of the vineyard. And you hear Kiva grunt in a bit of a unpleasant surprise, and as you see where she's looking, you can see a fence post that appears to be covered with hundreds of tiny green-black thorns and needles that are embedded deep into its wooden surface.
Lillison will stop. She'll look back at Erthrindir and lower her voice, pointing towards both the crisscrossed marks on the ground and the thorns. And do those look familiar to you?
Do they?
Make a looking over the footprints and the thorns. Footprints would be a survival check. The thorns, given that you rolled earlier, you think that it's very possible that they were extruded by the thorn-like blights that you've heard about.
Do I think it could be one of them itself, or would that be a check?
You would know that they don't tend to be thorns so much as they're these humanoid figures that grow and extrude and spray these sharp thorns and needles from their
then he
bodies.
will try to see if he knows the footprints.
All right, yeah, make a survival check.
15.
15. They do seem inhuman. That much is clear. There's kind of deep gouges in the soil where you think that claws might have carved in there. But they don't seem like normal claws. Where if a wolf's claws had carved into the ground, there might be a little difference in indentation based on the point where the claw actually connects with this flesh. Instead, it seems whole, as though an actual carved claw, perhaps of wood or similar material, just gouged into the earth and made its way across. And as you glance over the footprint, you can actually see a trio of small little pine-like needles with sharp edges and dark black glistering sheen to them, lying just around the edges.
Where is this tree?
There's no tree. There's just footprints.
Okay. Earthrendir traces the edge of it with his finger, then kind of nods. Can you tell how recent the footprint is?
Given the 15, probably within the past 12 hours or so.
They were here and recently. Might still be. It is one of them. That's not a wolf or nothing.
Amity holds up her arm next to the needle-ridden fence post, comparing them. What? Okay, so maybe it's time to turn around.
Metreon takes a look at the fence post too, with the needles in it, and he's actually very carefully gonna pull one out, and he just wants to see if there's any sign of poison, or also to see just kind of how big it is, and if they got stuck with it, how deep it would go.
The size of the thorn is around the length and width of your pointer finger, from the tip of the nail to the first knuckle. It's a dark black green thorn, but it doesn't seem to be covered in any sort of poison or anything. Just uncomfortably sharp.
Okay. Just looks uncomfortably sharp.
Yeah, quite. And I think I don't know. We're almost there, but they are probably waiting for us. I don't see them, but that doesn't mean much with tree creatures. Think we should make a run for the winery. Grappling hook up there and pray we're faster than, because going back's just as unsafe as going forward.
I don't think we should run as such, but yes, we should pick our pace up and assume that they already know that we're coming.
But
not
Amity,
particularly give ourselves away.
But they don't know we're coming, right?
Theoretically.
So then why are we trying to make them think that we are? Let's keep it low profile.
Kiva places a hand on Metron's shoulder. The longer we stay out here, love, the easier it is for them to know we're coming. So maybe let's not dawdle.
I'm from not dawdling,
fair.
but let's just keep it cool. Let's just keep it stealthy.
Right. Yeah. Although Amity, if you do want to go back, I will make you invisible so you can get there safer, hopefully. But I would like to have you with us if that's okay.
Amity sort of clutches his hand. All right, I'll come with you as long as the rest of you are still going ahead.
Yeah.
For now.
Earthrendir squeezes it. Promise. Let's do this.
Lillison proceeds, still stealthily.
All right. With that, I'd like all of you to make a stealth check if you are approaching silently.
Yes. Can I give who needs bardic inspiration?
Oh God!
I will give
Metreon
guidance
needs bardic inspiration.
Wait, how did Lillison and Metron, people with the best
That's a natural one, so that's a 5 from me.
That's a natural one for me.
Oh
so
my
7.
god!
Earthrendir, you get guidance because everyone else has already rolled 1.
Thank you. Okay, that's a 20.
And do you mind, Earththunder, do you mind rolling for Kiva as well?
Yep, can do.
And Amity, what'd you get?
A 12.
Beautiful.
And Kiva has a 16.
All right. As you make your way forward through the vineyard, you can't help but feel utterly exposed as you creep your way down the trail between the low-hanging vines and posts that surround them. The small curls of mists that curl across the ground don't do much to hide you, but you do feel as you silently slink forward that if nothing else, you've done your best to avoid alerting anything that might be lurking in the inner portions of the structure. You slowly come closer. Which entrance are you heading toward? There's a number of different areas. There's the loading dock, there's the closed door, there's the veranda. Are you heading around the back? What are you all doing? Because the trail just leads straight to the loading dock.
Lillison is gonna head around the side that's not the loading bay side.
So would that be the left or the right on the art?
On the art, it would be the right.
All right, so you're heading
All right.
toward the veranda with those, like, you can see those big half-barrel tubs coming into view.
Toward it for now, but like not aiming to actually get onto it.
All right, very good.
You know, when she reaches it, she'll try to go around the side.
Right. Together you make your way forward, watching around quietly for anything that might indicate danger, and as you approach the winery, the dark structure towering over you, a faint shadow covering you from the thin gray light that pervades the Barovian morning. Amity, as you make your way at the back of the group, looking around anxiously for any indication of danger from the winery ahead, you hear the rustle of dead vines all around you. And as you pause for a moment, your breath catching your chest, turning not ahead, but backward to the origin, you can see inhuman shapes emerging from the vineyard, their limbs cracking as they begin trudging forth through the mist and rain toward you.
Oh man, do they look like the shadow from the dream?
They do not, but Erthrendir, as you hear this, you glance and you immediately recognize them as needle blights. They match the
Run.
descriptions perfectly.
Run. Now. Go.
Don't have to tell me twice. And Metrana will run.
Kiva! He turns to her, like, help me.
Right. Hold on. Don't worry. And she kind of like moves in and scoops up Amity easily, holding her, doing her best to hold her carefully and gently. As you watch, you can see more and more emerging from all sides. There seems to be a group of 5 that's emerging from the northern end of the winery, the vineyard. There's another group of 5 coming from the east, another group of 5 from the west, and you can hear the rustling of vines even coming from the opposite side of the winery, all slowly growing closer and closer. Which way are you heading?
Question. If we were to try and snag a grappling hook on one of the windows, would that be a check, or is that just a thing that can happen?
That would be, I would need you to make an attack roll to see if you can hit it and break it.
With dex or strength, or...
If you're aiming for one of the upper windows, I'm assuming you're right by the closed door right now, so that would just be a dex attack roll. You don't add your proficiency.
All right. Erthrendir's going to kind of... Amity, can you help me? And he's going to kind of pull the grappling hook out of his pack and start to twirl it in order to get enough momentum to hurl it up there.
All right, and as you glance up, give me a quick intelligence check, Erthrendir.
Sure thing.
Not to break the tension, but the mental image of Truffle being chased by twig blights and running on his little legs is very cute to me.
That is adorable.
6.
All right, very good. Yes, what are you doing to hit? Are you hitting the window with a grappling hook?
He's trying to snag on the windowsill, but at this point, he will go through the glass if he needs
All right.
to. Or actually, can he snag on that railing on the roof? That seems a lot more sturdy.
Yes, I will allow it. Go for it.
Excellent.
Make a
Then yeah,
dexterity
he's
attack. No proficiency.
Okay.
Can I give Erthrendir guidance? Is there time for that?
Yes, you can act immediately before he does if you'd like. We're not fully in initiative yet.
All right.
Okay, thank
Amity's
you.
probably stronger than him, but whatever. You can do it.
Thank you.
As you do,
All
you
right.
hear the rustling and the creaking of the shapes behind you. You can see that the now 15 needle blights are slowly creeping forward. You can see more shapes emerging from the mist, encroaching upon your position, perhaps no more than several dozen feet away from you by this point, perhaps no more than 100.
Okay, with guidance, that's a 14.
You needed a 13. You swing the grappling hook in your hand, let it loose, and it hooks, kind of dragging along the roof for a few moments before snagging right on the upper bar of the top of the roof. You feel it catch taut. You tug it a few times to make sure it holds. It's good in place.
Amity, have I told you you're a legend today? Because I'm going to now. And then he's going to kind of
You do.
start... Thanks. And he's going to start scarpering up the rope.
Kiva kind of like gently rests Amity on the ground. Climb on my back, love. I'll bring you up. Don't worry.
Yeah, Emmy climbs on her back and helps with her arms to ascend the rope.
Here's a question. From my knowledge of these things earlier, do I think they can climb?
They're probably not intelligent enough to know. They have at best kind of a bestial intelligence. They probably wouldn't be able to work it out.
Alrighty, good to know. Would they be able to climb a rope, though?
A rope, probably not.
Okay, thank God. Alright, in that case, yeah, he's heading up the grappling hook and kind of... Once he gets to the window, he's going to see if he can pry it open.
Lillison is
All
gonna, frantically gesture for Metreon to go up first.
Oh, right. Yeah, you do that. And he's going to step aside.
Metron just seeing Amity and Kiva go up, he will scoop up Truffle under his arm and using his free arm will start to, and his legs to start to climb up.
Aw.
All right. You can see the blights as you trudge up slowly, shambling through the vineyard, getting closer to the winery, closing perhaps a good quarter or so of the distance to you. Each of you together are able to clamber up, moving slowly, but thankfully not too far into the rope. Anthony, you're the first to reach the window, which you find to be closed.
Okay. Does it look
But
like
it does seem to be openable, and as you try it, it unfortunately does not seem to open from this side.
Does it open out or in?
It seems to open outward.
Okay. He's going to shoot a desperate look at Metreon and Lillison. Either of y'all have anything for this?
I have, yes, but let's just keep going up. Let's get to the roof.
That works. And he's going to... He'll clamber up onto the roof and get ready to unspool the rope and pull it up after them, after everyone's up.
All right, together you're able to clamber onto the roof, though by now the blights have trudged for perhaps a full 45 feet or so and are slowly beginning to grow closer. You can see the mist kind of spilling across the vineyard as each of you make your way onto the roof, but the blights seem to keep coming forward. What are y'all doing?
Pull up the rope.
Earthendeer will do so, and then kind of look at the others. Can any of you get this open?
I can try.
Thank you.
And with, ever smaller motions, Lillison seems to be trying to make her spellcasting motion smaller and smaller over time. She's going to try to cast Mage Hand close to the window.
All right. You kind of close your eyes, focus, and you feel the hand emerge. Are you casting this inside the room or outside of the room?
I'm going to try to cast it inside the room.
All right. What's the range on Mage Hand?
I believe 30 feet.
Yes, 30 feet.
All right. You feel it emerge easily in the space. It's kind of a strange sensation, controlling this thing that you can't quite see. But as you navigate forward blindly with your fingers, you can feel it pressing up against the glass.
Okay, gonna just try to grope around with it, see if I can find the catch or the latch, or see if it's just kind of stuck.
All right. Kind of pushing the window, you kind of hear a creak for a moment, and then you feel your hand stop short as you just faintly from this distance hear a click. It seems to be locked. If you'd like, you can make a sleight of hand check with disadvantage to try to unlock it from here.
Okay. The window seems to be locked. I'll see what I can do from here.
Yeah, you got this. You're nimble, you're dexterous, you can handle this. And he's going to... wait, no, too late.
Sorry.
It's good.
But yeah, with disadvantage, that is a 16 sleight of hand.
All right.
Nice.
You
That's
kind of close your eyes, focusing, and then swiftly hear a small click. And pushing forward, a lot of you hear the window creak and groan as it swings open.
Do we actually want to go in there, though? This seems to be more defensible for now. We could just stay here and pick off these things at a distance.
Yeah. I just need to catch my breath a bit.
Well, if we stay here, then their masters may come out to see what's wrong. And I'm not sure if druid has the same connotation here that it does in the outside world, but that traditionally means magic.
Earthinder, you also remember something else from your experiences with blights, or from the stories you've heard.
Yeah.
These things are likely needle blights, and they don't really do melee combat. And you were abruptly reminded of the fence post that was covered and embedded with hundreds of tiny thorns and needles.
Oh no.
Earthinder blanches. Nope, inside, right now!
What?
The needle shoot thing can hit from roof bad, very bad.
Oh, yes.
And he's going to throw the rope down. He's going to throw the rope down, trying to catch it inside the window if he can, and then just start clambering down.
All
Gonna
right.
mage hand help that.
Is everyone following?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Yes,
Yes,
Amity?
but as Amity follows, she is going to say, I didn't want to say I told you so, but remember when you said mist wasn't going to surround us this time?
Yeah, no, I'm fucking pissed.
No, you're justified in that one.
And as you say that,
After going in the
Anthony, you
building
swing
again.
inside the Anthony, you slide inside the window, passing into the chamber. And for a moment, you actually kind of stumble for a second as you kind of trip over, landing halfway on a plain desk that stands on this side of the room. Kind of doing your best to adjust your footing as the others push in, falling against you. You see the blights now incredibly close, growing closer by the moment. You can see their dark black eyes glinting in the gray light. You can see the hundreds of thorns and spines that cover every part of their shape of their amorphous humanoid bodies. And you can see them slowly raising their hands and fists toward you as you watch all of the spines across their bodies ripple and shiver as if loosening themselves.
Willison's gonna try to make sure everybody is in, and then is gonna wait until the very last moment to mage hand slam the window shut.
All right. The window slams shut.
Oh, do it quietly.
Just
Slam
as
shut quietly.
you hear, just as you see a cloud of dark black green shapes spiraling and speeding through the air toward you, you hear thuds and the sound of cracking, splintering wood as hundreds of thorns scatter across the surface, embedding themselves in the wood of the exterior. You hear the window crack and splinter and then shatter as several thorns land on the inside. And then silence for a moment. And that's where we'll take our break.
Hey.
Oh boy.
God, that sleight of hand, Kaya. Holy shit.
Yeah, that definitely makes up for the two rogues in the party rolling natural ones on their stealth checks.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
Have we entered right next to like an existing druid? I haven't been keeping track, but I hope so.
I hope
entirely
not.
possible.
Yeah, I really
But
hope
yeah.
not.
Yeah.
Gonna have to remember to like not roll checks instantly before the bards have a chance to react.
Yes, like we have a lot of buff spells.
Yeah, and we appreciate
thank
it very
you.
much.
Thank you. Yes, speaking of which, Linus, God bless. You legend.
Oh yeah, it was perfect that guidance got you over the barrier.
Yeah, it was perfect. In fairness,
All
that
right.
seems to happen a lot. That's
Yeah.
all.
All right, cool. Well, thank you all. We will pick this back up after a 15-minute break. Until then, do enjoy two messages from our D&D community this week. Just a more concise, but the same length as usual, including a short video that I produced discussing the use of marks of horror in running the scariest and fairest Curse of Strahd campaign possible, as well as Twice Bitten's very own March of the Dead, a memorial for those PCs that have fallen in battle at the hands, the very, very bloody hands of this module. We'll see you all back here soon.
A gust of air like the foul-smelling breath of some horrible monster greets the adventurers as they climb the steps of a tower in Castle Ravenloft. Nearing the top, they begin to hear the beating of a heart in the darkness above. Not a human heart, but the heart of something monstrous and horrible. Such is the nature of Gothic horror. Fear, bred by anticipation, and the dark realization that all will be truly and horribly revealed in time. So begins the Curse of Strahd page titled simply Marks of Horror. Unlike many modules, Curse of Strahd provides DMs with an explicit framework to modify its content, and this single, oft-forgotten page is key to making the campaign haunting, engaging, and above all else, fair. The book presents 7 Marks of Horror, 4 horrific, 1 neutral, and 2 positive. The darkest marks of horror heighten your player's dread and fear. The first mark, the unknown, uses your player's fear of the unknown to create terror of imminent attack and induce hopelessness in a once hopeful situation. The second mark, foreshadowing, uses clues and prophetic dreams to warn your players of dangerous encounters and horrible secrets. The third mark, age, reminds players of death, decay, and their own mortality. The fourth mark, personification, turns mundane objects into malevolent entities, describing them with human-like emotions, actions, or appearances. The fifth mark, detail, is more neutral, but describing scenery with increased details will surely make your players paranoid, perhaps while also drawing their gaze away from the true danger. The last 2 marks are far less morbid, but no less important. The sixth mark, light, provides players with occasional moments of hope and joy, contrasting with the dark shadows elsewhere. Finally, the seventh mark, humor, gives players a chance to break that tension, relaxing the mood and giving horror a chance to sneak up again on them later. You can find more information on these marks on page 7 of the Curse of Strahd module, but for now, let's examine how to wield them in actual play. These tools can do more than scaring your players. They're also vital for running a fair game. As written, Curse of Strahd is an infamously deadly adventure. From night hags to shambling mounds and even Strahd himself, death is cheap in Barovia. However, these elements of fear can give your players a fighting chance to stay alive. In the most basic sense, a frightened player is a careful player. If they know that something deadly is around the corner, they'll be less likely to rush blindly ahead. Instead, they'll be more likely to strategize, evade, or flee. You can also use fear to set expectations for your world. If dangerous areas or objects are horrific and safe ones more mellow, players will quickly pick this up. However, it's vital to recognize that this is a promise you make to your players. By making dangerous areas scarier, you're promising that players can avoid danger by intelligently watching their environment. If you break this promise, for example, by making a seemingly safe area deadly or vice versa, your players will abandon their efforts at prediction and resume bumbling through Barovia. This point is incredibly important, so let me repeat it. It might seem satisfying to give your players a jump scare or otherwise subvert their expectations, but these approaches work much better in passive media. D&D is a form of active media, and we want to make sure our players have a strong sense of agency. Accordingly, you need to give your players the tools they need to exercise that agency wisely, which means keeping your promises and setting expectations that they can rely on. Finally, you can use these marks of horror to present hints and clues to your players, pointing toward solutions or new sources of information. Foreshadowing is an especially powerful tool here, allowing you to push your players toward or away from certain areas or quests as you choose. So, how do we create new sources of fear? D&D offers several places to look. First, stat blocks. For each monster in a given area, look at its features, attacks, and, if it has any, spells. The Shambling Mound's vines might stretch through the room like long, jet-black roots, or a Strahd zombie might present as a bloated, fragile corpse. A druid's produced flame might leave scorch marks on nearby surfaces, or a werewolf might leave claw marks and matted patches of fur on nearby branches. Don't forget to check monster lore either. The monster manual can tell you that unnatural sounds, cold spots, and strange sensations arise in places haunted by ghosts, and that ghouls thrive in areas rank with decay and death. Next, look to the environment. Are there footprints in the mud? What kinds of footprints? Has the area been disturbed in some unwholesome way? Does the monster's lore suggest a preference for a certain kind of environment? Has it changed that environment to suit its needs? Make it clear that this area is no longer a place for mortals, but a haven for monsters. Finally, use movie tropes. Footsteps on an upstairs floor. Heavy breathing beside a player's ear. A strange reflection in a mirror. Clichés are clichés for a reason. They work. Don't be afraid to fall back on a familiar tool when you need to. They're reliable for a reason. Now that we know where marks of horror come from, how do we use them? An essay titled The Trajectory of Fear, written by Ash Law, provides an excellent breakdown of horror in both Hollywood films and role-playing games alike. The article breaks player fear down into 4 stages: unease, dread, terror, and horror. Unease is the start of fear. It is the knowledge that something is not right in the world. The players should know that something is wrong here, but it's not an immediate threat, and it's not clearly defined. This might be a village whose streets are empty during the day, or a strange mask lying in the woods. The next step is dread. It's the unconfirmed suspicion that something is not right in the world, and it is here. The players know that danger exists and that it is close, but cannot know just how close. Think of a strange sound echoing in the night, or a mutilated corpse with fresh wounds. Terror is the next step in the progression, and the most powerful type of fear. Here, the players know that something terrible is clearly imminent, and that the danger is here and now, but that it's still yet to be revealed. This is the highest point on the trajectory of fear, when the players hear a rasping breath on the other side of a door or inhuman footsteps rapidly approaching. Horror is the last stop on this roller coaster of fear, and, paradoxically, the weakest. This is the moment when the players meet the danger at last, screaming and jumping back in fear, thereby releasing the tension and placing us back at the bottom of the ride. This is the moment when the monster bursts into the room and a fight, or a flight, begins. Each step builds on the last, but a good horror story rarely reaches the top. You can build tension by pushing the fear into unease and then diffusing the scene back into dread. You can and should make this tension unbearable by building up to terror and then falling back to unease or dread. By doing so, you deny your players the release of horror, the moment when the danger is revealed, and in doing so, turn their own imaginations against them. You shouldn't overdo this. Avoid skipping to terror without building dread and unease first, and make sure not to overuse any part of this ride. Too much dread risks making your game feel camp and overdone. Too much terror risks burning your players out. Balance is key. So, how can we apply the marks of horror in this trajectory? Each mark is useful for a different stage. You can use age, personification, and details to create unease in a scene. Use foreshadowing to create mounting dread. Then, lean on the unknown to create terror in your players, and release that tension with a gruesomely detailed reveal. You can also use humor to diffuse tension or create moments of levity and light to give your players the hope and courage they need to soldier on. These can be friendly NPCs like Irina, Ismark, or the Mardukubs. These can also be moments of beauty or occasional moments of peace. Don't forget these. After all, it's the brightness of the light that makes the shadows seem so much darker. Marks of horror can be tricky to get right, but incredibly valuable if done well. It can be tough to come up with your own at first, which is why I've compiled a list of examples I created for Death House. You can find them, and a link to the full Trajectory of Fear article, at the links below. As you read, you'll find that many areas of Barovia, especially those with pre-made flavor text, come with their own pre-packaged marks of horror already. Even so, it's up to you to expand and accentuate those with your own. And so, as you run Curse of Strahd, do try to keep this at the forefront of your thoughts. In Barovia, fear isn't an emotion or a state of mind. It's a way of life, and you should do all you can to make sure your players know that.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Before we pick back up, first, a huge kudos to our very own Jack, player of Metreon, for putting together those those March of the Dead slides. Like, holy shit.
That exploded.
They're fucking beautiful.
It was so gorgeous. By the way, since I see somebody asking about it in chat, we got so many submissions. We got, I believe, almost 80 submissions that
we got
not,
actually 150.
We could not fit it all in on one break video. However, we will be doing a full post with everybody's details so that everybody can be memorialized as appropriate.
Absolutely. So, with that said, before we start, just as always, a few quick announcements, starting with our eternal shout out to our virtual tabletop sponsor that we are eternally grateful for, Foundry VTT. Next, Twy.
Yo, y'all. Twitch is great. Subbing on Twitch is great. Subbing with Twitch Prime is even better because then it's something you get by accessory and don't have to pay extra money for. Sub with Twitch Prime if you've got it. We got great emotes. We've got a great chat. Got great people, the best people. Get in there. All the money goes to supporting the stream. Thank you very much. And with that, Kaya.
Yeah, Kaya's got the big guns. We've been leading up to this announcement, right?
Yes.
Unfortunately, poor Serena couldn't be here this week for it. But Kaya, you want to give us a drum roll and take it away?
Well, I don't know how to do a drum roll, and I will do my best to step into Serena's shoes. But yes, here's the moment you've all been waiting for. The winner of our Curse of Strahd revamped box giveaway is Cryptic_Gabriel on Twitter. Thank you very much, everybody who has entered. We will be reaching out to the winner. And if they do not respond within 24 hours, we will be drawing a new winner. So Cryptic_Gabriel, you best get back to us soon.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
And thank
It is
you
a
everyone
cursed
for
item.
entering. Yes,
Yeah.
enjoy your coffin. It is a beautiful set, though.
Gotta love coffins. They're
Oh,
very
thanks.
stylish. All the cool kids have them these days.
Thank you so much.
All right. With that, I think that's all we got. So thank you to everyone for sticking around. And without much further delay, let's dive right back in. So, a lot of you, as the thorns and needles pitter-patter to the ground of the chamber in which you now find yourselves, you can see the blights slowly staring up at you and then just staring vacantly, their dead gazes piercing through the mist. And as you turn to see the room in which you now find yourselves, you can see that this room contains a handsome four-poster bed, its headboard carved in the likeness of a giant raven. A soft black rug covers the floor beneath the bed and the door, and in the corners of the south wall stand two slender wardrobes with a tapestry of a church hanging on the wall between them. Beneath the tapestry sits a handsomely carved rocking cradle, while to the north, under the window you've just climbed in from, is a plain desk and chair, though it's now covered in several places by thorns and needles that are embedded into the wood. You can see that other furnishings include a wooden chest and a freestanding mirror in a wooden frame.
Metron would like to take a quick look through the wood chest.
You open the wood chest, and glancing inside, you actually can't open it. It appears to be locked.
Oh, well then I will use my lockpicks to get through it.
All right, the rest of you see Metron taking out his lockpicks. What are the rest of you doing?
Rolling my eyes at Metreon.
Look,
while...
there might be something here that can help us, all right?
Keep your
Yes, I
voices
know.
down.
It's a fond eye roll. Lillison is going to cautiously peek outside the window.
Sure. As you do, you can see that on the desk now, covered in a number of places by thorns and needles, a number of documents and papers, a bit of ink that has been pushed aside and spilled across the side. The black liquid now dribbling down the side of the desk onto the floor into a small puddle on the wooden ground. And as you push those documents to the side, you glance outside and you see the blights. There must be 24 of them at least, just milling about, the mist faintly strewn around their humanoid forms. As you poke your head out the window, a number of them turn their faces toward you, and you watch as two of them begin to raise their hands once more, the spines across them rustling and bristling once more. And at this, Kiva remembers, "Get down, enough," and she quickly takes your shoulders and pulls you to the side.
Well, we could engage in a bit of siege warfare here, or we could explore the rest of this place.
I vote the latter, Earthendeer says in a very low voice. If we can deal with their masters, then I'll feel a lot safer if we want to start taking pot shots at them.
Shh. Amity puts a finger to her lips and puts her ear to the wall/floor. Can she hear anyone?
Make a perception check, and as you do, Metreon, I'll need you to make a Thieves' Tools check.
Yeah.
20 on the perception.
Nice.
Beautiful. So while Metron is rolling, Amity, you put your ear to the floorboards and attempt to hear as best you can. You don't hear anything below you, but you can hear in the distance, not immediately over, not in the next room over, but somewhere on this floor to the western side, you can hear several loud thuds and then silence once again.
Amity jerks a thumb to the west. There's someone over there.
Gotcha. Is the door open?
The door appears to be unlocked. It is closed.
Okay.
Metron, what did you roll?
I rolled a 19.
All right. It takes you but a moment to fit your lockpick in and twist it just right until you hear a satisfying click. As you pull the top of the wooden chest open, you can see within a trio of very neat pouches of green cloth tied with a small bit of twine. And
Do they look like sacks or just like clothing that's been wrapped in twine?
They look like money bags.
Oh, fantastic. I'd like to open them up, please.
All right. The first one you open up just kind of is quite a bit larger than the others, and as you open up and peer inside, you see what must be a few hundred silver pieces, just neatly consolidated.
Yes.
Kind of tuck that aside. The next one you open is a bit heavier than the others, but a bit smaller in volume. And as you open it, you see what seems to be a few dozen gold pieces clinking and glinting in the dim gray light of the chamber.
Yeah, he's going to take both. He's going to empty the contents into his satchel and then put the bags back into the chest, slam it shut. Well, not slam it shut. Very carefully shut it, and then lock it back again.
There's a third pouch. Were you looking at that one?
Yes.
The third pouch you open, kind of peering inside, and you see this one seems to have, slightly less volume than the silver pieces, but of middling weight. And as you open and look inside, it seems to contain perhaps 200, maybe even more Electrum coins. But as you glance over it, you see a familiar visage stamped in profile across the surface. And as you kind of sift through looking over it, you realize that every single one of these Electrum coins bears the stamped image of the face of Strahd von Zarevich.
So as he's emptied the other two and then starts to go through the third, he kind of has that moment of clarity and then freezes with one of the coins in his hand, just kind of arrested by seeing his face embossed into the metal surface of this coin. Listen, and at this point he'll take the contents and then put them in his bag and carefully shut the trunk. Listen, if we was doing this for gold, we can get the fuck out of here now.
We're not.
Listen, the whole thing was that we were doing this because we was scared we'd have to either pay to get the room or be put out on the street. We could pay for the room.
I don't...
He's everywhere.
What do you mean he's everywhere? What are you talking about?
Metreon pulls out one of the gold coins and shows it.
Earthendeer turns it over. Can he tell how old this coin is, roughly?
Make a. This would be an investigation check, I imagine. Or actually, no, make a history check.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Yeah, history, but this will use your wisdom modifier, not intelligence.
Ah, boy.
It always comes back to coins for Earth and Deer.
It does. Okay, so that's just a flat d20 plus 1. $12.
12? I mean, it seems pretty old, faded, and chipped in places. Maybe at least a couple centuries, you think. Certainly not of recent make. It's not fresh.
Ah. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. He has a mint here? How does he have a mint?
It doesn't fucking matter. He's everywhere. If these things is tied with him, I don't want to be near them. I don't want to be anywhere near them.
We can't just sit down and go back. We're not going to be able to get out. We got to deal with regardless. We've got to deal with these people so that we can take care of the blights without getting murdered.
Metreon anxiously starts to kind of like tug at his jacket and look around the room, very much in the same way that he was back at Death House. But he will kind of like shrink into the corner and let everyone kind of like take the lead on this.
Metreon.
What?
Do you plan to simply take the money and leave no trace, or do you want to make it seem as though the druids ransacked this place?
Yeah, I mean, I figured, they probably got it anyway, right? I mean, that's what we tell them, if they ask.
Yes, well, I don't think that druids would carefully close the chest back up again.
Yeah, you're right. I wasn't thinking right. And Metreon will go back and try to unlock the lock again so that he can make it look like someone pulled out the sacks and, kind of throw some things about the room so it makes it look like it's been more ransacked.
Earthrendir's going, while this is happening, Earthrendir's going to kind of look at Amity, give her a nod, just like, hey, you said that person was out west, right?
Right. I think he's still there.
Okay. Well, we need to take care of that. I mean, I guess we can try and knock him out after we wear him down with magic, but it's going to be a tough thing.
She was making some loud thuds, too. Might be a tree.
Huh. Point. I think we should probably scout it out and see. Or, realistically, Lilson or Metreon should, but they seem preoccupied.
Lillison is scooping up, some of the ink that got splattered over the desk and sort of tossing it over the remains of the chest as Metreon is reopening it.
Actually, Lillison, or do you mind scouting out a bit in the hallway, seeing what's going on? Amity heard some thuds way west. We kind of need a picture.
What? Oh, yes, of course. And she has her mage hand put the inkwell back down, and then she's going to edge a little bit closer to the door.
All right. The door is closed, but does not appear to be locked.
Okay. She looks around and says, everybody stand back from the door just a little bit.
Yep.
Yeah, Metreon's still messing with stuff. Definitely looks like he's got other things on his mind, though, as he's doing it. He's not kind of committing himself fully to this, but he's doing it as best as he can.
Okay. I can't seem to move my token. Not sure why.
I think Foundry's having a bit of a time.
It's all good. I'll move you over there. What are you doing at the door?
Okay. At the door, Lillison will pause for a moment, and then actually first she would like to look at the hinges and see whether or not she can see any rust on them.
Make a perception check.
My rolls don't seem to be coming through. I will reload real fast.
Lillison's doing that. What is everyone else doing? Is Amity doing anything?
I guess just sorry, I'm also reloading Foundry because I'm also having problems.
Same.
Yeah. Where's Truffle at, by the way? I mean, I brought him in, but is he coming with us, or?
Right. I guess Truffle is in the room with us. He's probably searching under the bed for any morsels.
Oh.
Oh, it's a good boy. Yeah, Earthendeer's gonna probably. Actually, he's gonna keep a careful watch out the window and kind of make sure the blights aren't about to circle around and come back.
Okay, Lillison's perception roll is 16. And Dragna appears to be having Discord issues.
Yep.
Well, we
give
know
us
the
a moment.
module.
Technical
Let's just-
difficulties.
yeah,
We'll
go with
DM it. Yeah. All right. So next room over, the druids roll 25 on their perception check.
You're gonna have to do death saves right now.
I vote. Okay, I vote not letting Twi DM.
Oh, come on. It'll be fun. I've only messed with their spell lists a little bit.
So, do you think if there is someone to the west, I mean, we're not going to like kill them, right? We're going to knock them out. I mean,
If
they're
we can.
human or elf or like us.
Humanoid, yeah. If we can. I'm not sure we can, because that requires us to get in close, and that is not where we operate well. But if we are given the opportunity, we try not to kill them. If we're not, cards fall where they may.
Oh, look,
I'm not happy about it either.
I can't really control very finely where splashes of acid go. I suppose I could try stabbing them instead.
Let's. Look, I don't. We don't know much about these people. I don't particularly want to murder them, but they're hurting these people and taking over their home. And I think if it happens, then.
I mean, it's self-defense, right?
Yeah, I mean, kinda.
No,
vaguely.
it's not kind of. It is. I mean, they attack us, and if they attack us, and we fire a crossbow bolt at them, or Lil throws some bloody acid at them, then we're justified.
Well, yeah, but if we want to do well, we should hit them first.
I don't think we're going to be aiming to be murderers, but if somebody dies, if one of them dies, I'm not going to hold it against any of you.
I feel like the point of this, though, is being lost, and that's to not be found.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna have to if we're gonna get them out of here.
Yeah,
We're
but I
either
mean,
gonna have to make a
we
show
gotta
of force or
well, we got to sneak up on them. That's what I was saying. We got to,
Bop 'em.
if exactly bop them.
Well, I can do some reasonable quality bopping if I try.
The point of this is to get out, and to do that, we're going to have to do the siege thing that Lillison suggested on the ones outside. And I guess to do that, we just have to make sure that the masters don't interfere.
So then maybe that's what we do.
Yeah,
We go down. We barrel through those twiggy things and we just take off.
we will get murdered.
Well, then maybe we don't barrel through them. We try to find a way that's sneakier. That's that hides us from them or something. I don't know.
I saw them on all sides of the house. They're surrounded us. I think we're gonna just have to do what we gotta do. I'm sorry. Earthendeer kind of has a resolute look on his face. He seems very far away. I don't... Look, we've kind of been given a... We don't have much of a choice. We're stuck here in this... Well, in more ways than one, so... We gotta do what we can to make it out. And if that means that we deal with these people, then I will have 600 odd years to have a dirty conscience about it.
It may seem like it may be easier and safer to simply leave right now, but in the long run, it's a lot safer not to do the thing where you make a lot of enemies and then leave them alive behind you.
Yeah, it's generally not wise.
Dragna appears to be back and wants me to ask about the door. Dragna, I rolled a 16 perception for the door. Are you here, Dragna?
If you're talking, we cannot hear you.
Hear me now?
Yes, very faint.
Okay, so
There you go.
looking at the door and the hinges, it seems to be of fairly good make, no notable issues. It seems to be of cleaned or at least kept fairly nicely. There's no notable bits of rust here.
Okay. With that mic drop, then I guess, Lilson's going to edge backwards and have her mage hand very slowly open the door, hoping it does not squeak.
All right. With that, given that you wanted not squeak, give me a. I guess this would be your choice of stealth or sleight of hand.
I will get back to you once I have reloaded Foundry.
All right.
Meanwhile, everybody else, please feel free to continue the conversation.
Yeah. Well, at this point, Metron has finished kind of trashing the room. I want to take like a quick glance over at back out the window to see if are the blights still just kind of hanging out there, or are they kind of moved on yet?
Glancing on, you see that they've begun to kind of disperse. A few of them are just kind of standing, milling around, but the bulk of them seem to have dispersed back into the vineyard. You see a number of them kind of scattered amongst the vines and posts.
Okay.
All right.
Anybody want to give me some bardic goodness before I do this roll? If not, that's okay.
No, I'm trying to save mine for cutting words whenever things inevitably go pear-shaped.
Got it. All right, that is a 23 sleight of hand.
All right.
Plus Linus's guidance, I believe.
With that, you are able to easily and near silently open the door as it slowly swings in, opening to the next room. Glancing at the chamber beyond, you can slowly see through the gray light that is still seeping into the windows what seems to be a room containing a rectangular table surrounded by 8 chairs, an L-shaped cupboard, and a floor-to-ceiling closet pantry. Next to the pantry, you can see a small iron stove.
Okay. Lilson would like to cautiously step through, keeping an alert eye out.
All right. You cautiously step forward. Floorboard just very quietly creaking beneath your weight, but not loudly. Glancing through, you can see a number of items and bits of paraphernalia left out on the table. You can see what seems to be a plate with a half-eaten hunk of bread there, a glass of what seems to be half-drunk wine that has just been sitting here, and you can see bits of dust around the rim beginning to gather. You can see what seems to be a few bits of fruit and meat that have been kind of left out on the counter across from you that have begun to slowly rot after being left in the open. And you see two doors to the south of you, both closed.
Given the state of rot on the food, does it seem like this has in fact been left for about 2 days?
Yeah, it's not overly advanced, but there you can see a few flies buzzing around it.
Okay. Gonna step down to this door and listen at it very carefully.
All right. Make a perception check.
That is a 22 perception.
All right. As you listen at the door, straining to hear anything that might lie beyond, you just very faintly hear a distant, it's not close, but a distant, quiet giggling. Perhaps male, it's difficult to tell.
Oh boy.
Is it like audible for everybody, or is just her?
Just Lillison, and it's only intermittent.
Okay. Lilison will note that and then move to the other door and listen again and see if it seems to be about the same volume.
Listening to the other door. I guess, that perception check. Make another one for me.
That is a 9.
This one, you can't hear much. Although, as you look down, you can see that perhaps a part of the problem is as you glance at the bottom of the door, where there's usually a small gap, you can see a number of long, grayish brown with kind of yellow stripes on them in some places. Bits of nodes that have kind of swollen up and then popped with a bit of blackish sap oozing out. Long vines that have kind of strewn themselves underneath the door, kind of wedging themselves beneath. Just loose vines, not growing from anywhere in particular. You see that one appears to have been slightly severed, but...
Okay. Lilison's gonna glance back to the other room and see if everybody is watching her or whether they're still discussing their strategy.
Earthendeer's keeping an eye on her and kind of gives her a nervous thumbs up. What'd you get?
She's gonna bite her lower lip briefly and then point to the vine things under the door and then raise her finger to her lips.
He nods and kind of motions for the others to do the same. He's going to kind of point to the other door and make an expansive, should we try this one then, motion.
Metreon is kind of keeping close to the chest, not in a way of guarding it, but as a way to avoid having to go out, especially when he hears that there are vines crawling out of a door. But that's the gist of what he's doing right now.
Yeah. And to be clear, is this exit out here where Earthendeer's facing the hallway?
The one thing you're currently against is a window.
My apologies. I misunderstood what that was. Maybe. Alright. Earthendeer's going to kind of point to the other door only option. And, yeah.
Lilison is going to very, very quietly cast a message to him because she doesn't really trust raising her voice too much.
Gestures.
Yeah. And just whisper, there was giggling from behind that one.
Great. So either we deal with vine creature or we deal with druids. I guess vine creature, I probably won't alert them if we don't kill it. person probably will.
Lillison's going to take out her
I mean, it's not a
dagger
good.
and take a look at the tendrils that are actually creeping under the door, and she's going to poke one of them gently with the tip of her dagger, trying to see whether this thing is still alive or if, like, it's a dead one.
As that's going
DM?
on, Metron looks over at Amity. You think they learned their lesson after, getting knocked out by giant plant creatures back at their house, right?
Right, but the druid should be intelligent, right? I mean, I guess we don't share a language. Otherwise, I'd want to just try to surrender and have them let us leave.
I mean, you could certainly try, but they've been here for 2 days. I don't think they're too fond of leaving, and I don't think we had the manpower enough to coerce them to do it.
No, I don't mean them. I mean, ask them to let us leave.
Oh, just like keep the place. Yeah, no,
Yeah,
I'm fine with that.
You stay here. We'll just go. We got lost somehow and ended up here.
Yeah, I mean, we could try that. But what
Okay,
happens?
so... Oh, sorry.
What happens if they aren't so agreeable?
Then I guess we made a mistake and we have to fight all of them at once.
Fuck. Well, what's the option here? I mean, we either fight them all. We either try to convince them that we're not there to mess up their good time, all at once, or we take them out one by one, and try and level the playing field that way.
Maybe we can take out one of them and then wake them up and try to negotiate with them.
You think that'll work?
Amity just shrugs and shakes her head.
Oh no, love. I mean, we could try, but it's just I don't. Usually, when you got to negotiate, you negotiate for your life, right? But like, we can try and hold them for some kind of ransom or something, but I don't know if that's this kind of standoff we want to have.
Yeah. Amity just shrugs. So back to Lillison, I guess, in the action. What is?
Yes. So looking at the vines underneath the door, it just seems, a number of loose vines, just brown and yellow, quite dead. They don't seem to be growing from anywhere. They don't seem to be animate. And as you kind of like poke them with the dagger, you see that it kind of cuts a little slice across the side of it, letting this kind of like blackish sap start dripping forth. Not like any sap you've ever seen, but just slowly bleeding forth from the vine like a wound. But it doesn't seem alive. It's just lying there, unmoving. Just a vine.
Okay. Lillison's going to pick that up, angling it so that it doesn't drip on herself, and turn around and show it to Erthrindir with just a what the fuck look.
Does Erthrindir know? Is this from a vine blight?
I mean, you've not seen a vine blight personally. All you know is that they are animate plant creatures that are powered by evil and corruption.
Okay, fair enough. He kind of gives an expansive shrug. Kind of gestures the door like, well, might as well try something. As he kind of draws his new short sword from its sheath.
Okay. Lillison is going to remove the gem that is bound to her hand. She is going to polish the surface of the gem a little bit with both thumbs, closing her eyes briefly, and then she's going to put it back on her left hand. Still holding the dagger with her right hand, she's gonna direct her mage hand to slowly open the door.
The right door or the left one?
The
Beetle
one
door or
I'm-
thud door?
The one
One
I'm
Wilson's
right next to.
above.
All right. You take a step back and direct your mage hand as the door slowly turns and creaks open. And as you glance beyond, you can see a darkened corridor. Just with bare amounts of dim lighting flooding in from this chamber, and what you can see what seems to be a window at the other end of the corridor. The earth here has occasional clods of sod and soil kind of scattered across the ground of the floorboards, and to your left you can see what seems to be a narrow stone staircase down which the dirt path seems to continue. The dirt path also continues to the right, just small clods and clumps of soil that seem to be intertwined with muddy trails and small bits of leaves and roots that kind of lie underneath the long bit of shredded vine that was poking underneath this door and continue off out of sight down the corridor to your right.
Sorry, was this a dirt path that was on top of the floorboards?
No, it's just bits of mud and dirt that are kind of scattered across the wood.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lillison's gonna step cautiously out into the hallway and take a look around.
All right. As you cautiously do so, you can to the right just faintly hear the sound of crunching of what seems like wood or faint splintering. And as you glance to the right, you can see the muddy trail with the leaves and roots continues down the corridor, seeming to enter and exit 2 additional doors along this corridor before vanishing into a third. And you can see that at the end of the hallway, the third door is hanging open ajar into the room at the very end of the corridor that also winds to the left-hand side. And that from the open door, you can faintly hear the sound of a quiet, maddened babbling and a soft, quiet rustling. And as you glance, you hear the sound of a sudden wooden-sounding slam and then a thud. The babbling falling silent.
Lillison's eyes widen. She turns back to Erthrindir and she just mouths the words, "One of them is in there."
He nods. I'll get the others. Let's get ready to take them.
I don't trust them not to spoil this.
We need them. If we get stuck and trapped, then we're both dead. We need everybody.
Very well.
He's going to turn back to Amity and Metreon. Hey, we found one of them. If y'all think you can, we're gonna get ready to charge in there and hopefully knock him out. If you think you can do that, then we'd like your help.
Yeah, I'll follow your lead. Fuck.
Yeah, that's about my exact emotion.
Well, it's 50%. We either win or we don't.
What?
I don't like those odds.
No, that's not that. No, that's not. Erthrindir looks like genuinely offended at this. Okay, statistics lesson later. Let's go.
DM, you said the dirt trail sort of winds in and out of several rooms, but the one that I had heard the babbling from was like at the end of the hallway?
Correct. You can just faintly see that the door at the very end seems to be open. Are you making your way quietly forward?
I am.
All right, I'll need both of you to make a stealth check. Are Metreon and Amity pursuing? Kiva kind of glances back to them. You ready for this?
No.
Right,
That is
about the same.
23 stealth from me.
All right, and from Erthrindir?
Well, that's a 6.
All right.
Be like
With
that
that,
sometimes.
Fortunately, as you step forward, Well, listen, you glance back at Airthrin just as you see him about to step on a large, like a twig or a small branch that's been kind of like left strewn across the floor, and his foot is about to step upon it and crack it. You hold up a hand, and he glances down and sees it, and just narrowly avoids crunching it.
Oh my god. All right. Further forward, then, I guess.
All right. Are Amity and Metron remaining in the room with Kiva?
I mean, if Kiva leaves, I guess
She'll take a
Metron
step
will follow.
outside, but she's kind of like glancing back and glancing forward. She's not following Airthrindir and Lillison for now.
Amity's
Unless
lying.
Airthrindir turns back to beckon her.
I think he will, yeah.
She nods, and she will make her own stealth check.
Yep, I got it.
Amity, are you sneaking along as well?
Amity's lining up behind Kiva, so I guess that's a stealth check from her as well.
Ooh, that's a 22 from Kiva.
Beautiful.
Thank you in spirit, Serena.
Nice.
Also a 22 from Amity.
Nat 20!
Beautiful. All right, Lillison, if you'd like to lead the way, slowly creeping forward through the corridor.
Yes, I would.
Someone cue the Pink Panther theme.
Please don't.
Yeah, fair. It's not quite
We
that
don't want to
bad.
get a copyright strike.
Okay, Lillison will cautiously peer around this corner.
All right, you make your way to the end of the hallway and slowly peer into the chamber beyond. You can see in this chamber a desk, a chair, a tall wooden cabinet, and a strange contraption that takes up most of the northern end of the room. 3 creatures are here, and as you peer quietly around the corner, they don't seem to notice you. But you feel your breath catch your chest, nonetheless. One creature appears human, but is so caked with dirt and mud that it's hard to know for sure. Her hair is full of twigs and her face is hidden behind a veil of moss. From what you can see, she is rooting through the contents of the cabinet and haphazardly tossing them onto the floor. Behind her stand 2 humanoid creatures made entirely of dead vines. They stand silently in the room, their gaze fixed on the moss-veiled figure as she roots through the cabinet.
Okay. Lillison looks back at everybody else, just catches their attention, points inside the doorway, and nods once.
By the way, I rolled stealth and I got a natural 20, so 26.
Jesus.
Beautiful.
Nice.
Amazing.
Airthrindir, if you don't object, Kiva will...
Take point.
She'll glance toward Lillison first. What is Lillison doing?
Lillison is raising her left hand and flexing her fingers and staring at the gem.
All right. Are we doing this?
Okay, so DM, the flavor text of the spell message says that the message needs to be whispered. Is this something that might attract the attention of what's inside that room?
The woman doesn't seem to be exercising too much care in the room. You don't think that a whisper will be necessarily a danger of being heard if you do it quietly to yourself.
Okay, so she's going to cast this message sequentially to both Airthrindir and Kiva, basically saying, I'm going to launch a surprise attack and then run down this other hallway. Be prepared to attack when they emerge.
Which other hallway is she referring to?
The one leading down.
Are you sure? We haven't secured that yet.
I can see down it. There's a spiral staircase. And not much else.
Are there any other ways they can get out of that room, or is this the only one?
Well, there are windows.
Not too. We're on the 2nd floor. That's not too helpful. All right. Actually, that's a great idea. I have a spell. And if everyone else has some range capabilities, then we can do some very nice things.
Shall we have Kiva take up this spot?
At this point, you hear the sounds of rummaging from the other room stop, then you hear the woman's voice kind of utter something, sharp in a not an alert tone, but perhaps you get this very vague sense of a sound of disgust, and you hear a clatter or something is thrown to the ground and kind of like shimmies across the floor, kind of like ending just beside your foot, Lillison. You don't get the sense of you've been noticed, but you do get the sense that you might not have that much time.
Okay.
Okay, Lillison's gonna beckon for Kiva to take Erthrindir's spot.
Yep.
Kiva
There will-
nods, and we'll do so.
Both of us get messages, or is it not enough time?
Amity and Metron, you just see Kiva and Erthrindir switching places as Lillison exchanges meaningful looks with them.
Erthrindir is going to give them a glance and nod, "Get ready," and mouth, "Get ready," to both of them.
Metron frowns.
If we can, okay, I guess we can't whisper, so Amity's just gonna keep her mouth clamped.
I mean, Erthrindir's just kind of mouthing it to y'all. He's not. But yeah. Okay.
All right.
Okay. Lillison will cast Acid Splash directed at the woman and one of the twig creatures.
All right. So I will say that we're going to roll initiative then.
Excellent.
Is this a surprise round?
There's no such thing as a surprise round, but if they do not detect you, they will be surprised.
Can you activate an encounter?
Yes, please.
I can indeed.
Thank you.
Can you not kill us?
That's a harder ask.
All right, everyone, roll that initiative.
Cinco. It's unfortunate.
Big
Ugh.
money, no whammies. Big money, no whammies.
13?
3.
13.00 according to the tracker.
Yeah.
Big ol' 3.
Seven.
All right. And with that, I think we're dismissing Kiva.
Right, thank you.
All good.
And that is a 24!
All right. With that, Kiva is up first. What would she like to do?
She is going to ready an action to shock and grasp the motherfucker who comes into the spot where Lillison is now.
All right. With that, Amity, you're up. What are you doing? As you see Lillison begin moving her arms to cast a spell.
Right. Lillison, I know this is going to seem weird, but once upon a time...
You're casting a spell? What are you doing?
No, I'm not. So once upon a time, the porcupine was infamous for getting tit for tat. And when a warthog jabbed her, she jabbed back with equal force. And when a tiger ate one of her people, she devoted herself to tracking it, ensnaring it, and devouring it herself. And for 1 minute, Lillison, whenever a creature that you can see within 30 feet of you is damaged, you can use your reaction to deal d6 revenge damage to the attacker.
Oh!
And as
Oh
a
my
bonus
God.
action, she will give Bardic Inspiration to Kiva.
All right, and what kind of damage is that?
Bard you are. Holy shit.
It is force damage.
All right. Very good. With that, Lillison, you're up.
I love that so much.
Same, it's perfect.
Yeah, Lillison's gonna cast Acid Splash at the druid and the Vine Blight, like, straight in front of her.
All right, go for it.
So that's gonna be
that
dex
would be-
saves.
Yep, can you bring it up in the chat? That is 2 failures. Wow.
Okay, so that's 12
Uh,
acid damage.
Damn, you get the perfect shot lining up, and just as you hear Amity's voice begin to incant the weaving the tail, you close your eyes as you see the druid in front of you jerk for a moment, and in that moment of startled bewilderment, you take the exact moment to hurl a bubble of crimson bubbling acid directly between them, splashing the both of them, and hearing a sudden shriek of pain and rage as it burns and eats away, chewing away at both flesh, tearing away at the moss, and the vine blight spilling backward as its gray, brown, yellow flesh is rended by dripping red. That is your action. Anything else you wish to do?
Yes, I will disengage, and then I will move down the hallway.
All right, very good. That is the end of your turn. Next up, Erthrindir.
Okay, so Erthrindir is going to ready a spell. When someone enters the space that Lillison just left, when the first enemy enters the space that Lillison just left on their turn, he is going to cast Cloud of Daggers on that spot.
All right, so you're readying an action for this?
Yes.
All right, very good. With that, Metron, you're up. Or unless there's anything else Erthrindir would like to do with this bonus action.
Not particularly.
All right, Metron, what you doing?
He's just gonna hold an action. If one of those creatures comes into sight of him, he will take a shot.
All right, very good. Although I will say, Metron, given the number of people in the way, you will, whatever is in the way will have 3/4 cover.
That's fine.
All right, very good. With that, Kiva's turn again. Her Shocking Grasp fails to go off. It is her turn. What is she doing?
Okay. Well, she's not. Unfortunate about being pie in initiative for once. Same thing. Ready in action. Shocking Grasp.
All right, very good. As she does so, you hear a jolt of words coming from the room again, almost like commanding orders from the woman and you hear the soft rustling trudging of forms beginning to march their way out of the room. As Kiva, you hear what sounds like splintering and crackling of what sounds like peeling bark and wood from the inside of the chamber. With that, let me just mark something real quick. All right. Kiva, you see slowly trudging forth a vine blight. It appears to be this humanoid shape, almost like a facsimile or a mockery of a man. But as it slowly turns, you see its muscles are not muscles, but long strands of brown gray vines that rustle and spill over one another. As it slowly turns its face toward you, dead, hollow eyes staring directly toward you. I believe a number of things go off, don't they?
2, actually. First, Kiva is going to reach forward, channeling lightning through her hands and attempt to throttle this fucker. Probably not, because that's a 9.
So this is
That's a melee spell attack.
Unfortunately, no. That does kind of glance off the side of its like thick, gray, vine-created hide. It doesn't seem wet or moist for all the sap you found earlier. It's almost like a dry rustling, and the shock fails to connect with it.
All right, and then we get my lovely new spell, Cloud of Daggers. As Erthrindir murmurs an incantation in Elvish, which Kiva would recognize, Common, he's too stressed. By this power that I wield, let once was harm be now a shield. And he is going to, and sort of waving his wand, conjure that in the spot where the Vine Blight is currently occupying, which means it takes immediate damage.
All right, and this is a dexterity save?
No! It's not a
Really?
save. It happens.
Well, damn!
Okay.
All right, how much damage is that?
That is 11 slashing damage.
All right. As you watch, suddenly appearing in this square, you see a cloud of a swarm of swirling, not daggers, but dagger-sized scythe blades, rusted with dark brown, gleaming with long-dried, faded crimson blood, with long nicks and wicked sharp edges glinting and slicing through the air fiercely. Several of you have an immediate reaction of familiarity to the sight of these as they apparate into the air and begin swirling and slicing and carving deep into the vine blight's flesh as it stumbles back. And as you see it do so, it stumbles back, groaning, "No! Stop!" And you watch as these deep gouges of wounds of bleeding black sap begin to drip down as it turns, shuffling and squaring its shoulders toward Kiva and Erthrindir. And
Does Metreon
Yeah.
go off too?
yes, I believe Metron's is procced as well.
Yeah.
Fuck him up.
So that's going to be a 9. That doesn't take into account the cover, so I'm sure it misses.
All right. Unfortunately, a 9 does miss. -5 for 3/4 cover. So yes,
Yeah.
it twangs off the window and clatters to the ground. This thing kind of like now clutching at its head, shifting back and forth as the vines rustle and the black sap spills upon the ground. Its face set into this terrible, pained and agonized expression. All right, that is all the things I believe that needed to proc. So this thing will then turn toward Kiva and Erthrindir, and it will kind of raise its hand toward Kiva as she is closest. And you watch as one of its vines lashes forward and attempts to wrap around her neck.
Oof.
That will be an 18 to hit.
That hits. Or,
All right.
yeah, that hits.
That will be 5 points of bludgeoning damage. And it wraps around her neck and hauls her closer, not quite choking, but kind of like wrapping around her shoulders as well and keeping her kind of pinned in thin air. She is grappled and restrained.
Ooh, that's unfortunate.
All right, and as you watch, you hear like this shuffling sound from the other side, and you watch as the other one kind of like lurking there spills one of its vine-wefted arms out as well and lashes around the corner toward Kiva. It will do the same thing.
All right.
This one does have slightly more cover, so it is a -2 because of the wall on the way. That's a 15 to hit.
Nope. She raises her shield.
Oh, actually, she is restrained, so it does have advantage.
Great.
The second attack is a 5 to hit, so she raises her shield, just kind of barely managing to pivot in time, deflecting the blow as the vine slaps harmlessly across it. You hear kind of like this low rumbling grunt from the creature, and then as you watch, speeding from the room, you just see these 2 vine blights standing there, unmoving for the moment. That is the end of their turns. Amity, you're up. Actually, no. Amity is not up. You will see... No, that's it. That's fine. Amity, you're up.
Okay. Yeah, Amity points at this weird vine creature and is like, you know what happens to beanstalks, right? They get cut down, casting vicious mockery. Boink.
Okay.
Ooh.
That is a charisma save, I believe, or wisdom.
Somehow a wisdom save.
For some reason.
That is a natural 1.
Yeah.
I don't know if these things actually have, like, ears. I think if it somehow doesn't have that sense, then, like,
It seems capable of understanding and hearing, and as you watch, it suddenly, like, twists, like, its facial expression, whatever mockery of a face it seems to have, kind of contorting in this expression of pain and confusion. How much damage does it take?
looks like
Amity?
5.
All right. Takes
Wait,
5
why
points
did
of
it-
psychic damage.
Sorry, this thing rolled 2d4, and I don't know why.
Oh, sorry. What's the first one then?
It's done.
The first one's a 4.
First one's a 4.
All right. So 4 points of damage.
it's a
You watch as it kind of
cantrip,
twists, and you watch as like this blackish sap begins pouring forth from its mouth, leaking from the corners. That is the end of Amity's turn, I believe.
Yeah.
All right, Lillison, you're up.
Okay. Lillison did not expect things to go down this way. She is going to glance behind her just to see if anything seems to be coming up from below.
That would be an action if you want to make a full perception check, but just glancing back, you don't see anything immediately.
Okay, yeah, just glancing for now. And what she will do is she'll actually run back up, seeing Kiva in the predicament she is in now. And she's going to ready her dagger, but wince a little bit, and her left arm flings out as another acid splash bubbles forth, trying to hit both of these vine creatures this time.
All right.
So that's 2 dex saves.
That is a 17 for the north one and a 6 for the south one.
All right. The 6 for the south one takes. Yeah, I'm not sure why this is rolling 2d6 as well. I'm definitely not
Okay.
5th level, but 1d6 damage, which is going to be 5.
All right, very good. It suffers 5 points of acid damage as you watch as the blood red bubble begins consuming and eating away at its plant matter flesh.
Excellent.
And that's my turn.
All right, very good. Next up is Earthrendir.
So, the one currently inside the giant spinning web of scythes, about how healthy does it look?
The one that's in the middle of the sides right now, it's...
Yeah.
I mean, it looks pretty rough. It's, tears and wounds all over it, black sap dribbling from several places across its body. It's not looking very happy.
Okay. Thank you. All right. In that case, seeing that this thing's got Kiva, he's going to decide discretion is the better part of valor. Or not discretion. He's going to decide to try and finish this sooner rather than later, lean around her and shoot a firebolt at it.
All right.
That is a 13 to hit.
A 13 will, given the space, it does have half cover from Kiva, so that's an 11 to hit, which unfortunately just barely misses.
Damn it. All right. And in that case, can he... No, that'd probably be an action. I presume he couldn't, grab onto Kiva to... Nah, no. Okay. Yeah, that's his turn.
Unfortunately not. All right, very good. Next up, Metreon. You can see Kiva still wrapped up in the vines of this vine blade, which is kind of pulling her toward her, though it seems to be cut and sliced up and lacerated in several places.
Yeah, they got this. Metreon is going to go ahead and I'm going to use my action to see if I can hear anything coming up the stairs that are behind me.
Make a perception check.
In a moment. $13.
You don't hear anything coming up the stairs.
Great. Perfect. Yeah, that's my turn.
All right. Kiva's up again. She is restrained by the vines wrapped around her shoulders and neck. What is she doing?
Okay, well... I want to play her accurately. I think, yeah, she's probably trying to get out of that hold. She is not having that. So she's trying to struggle out of the grapple.
All right. That will be, if she wants to escape, an athletics check.
Alrighty. Come on. 15!
She, grunts for a moment and then tears back, and you see one of the vines visibly rip and then split, spraying black sap across the floor and air as she stumbles back, the vine going slack around her neck, breathing hard but now free.
Excellent. And I think that's her turn.
All right, beautiful. With that... Listen, you watch as leaping atop the desk in the chamber beyond and then crouching down over the top of the Vine Blight's head, the woman you saw earlier, her moss-covered veil now eaten away by the crimson acid until you can see only this bare, glowering face, eyebrows wrought down with hate, face and cheeks smeared with earth and mud. You watch as she darts a hand out toward you, a whisper of flame alighting in her hand, and as you watch, her skin actually shimmers, and you realize that it's not skin or earth at all, but a strange, waxy bark-like substance that has grown up around her entire face and arms, covering it entirely with a thick tree trunk-like skin. And as the flame whispers in her hand, she rears back and launches it at you directly over the Vine Blight's heads. You will have half cover for this.
Okay.
That is a 20 to hit.
Oof.
Oof.
That might
Yes.
hit.
No, that hits. I'm going to cast Shield as a reaction, which will take my AC to 20. It will still hit, but yes.
You
All
have
right,
half
very
cover.
good.
That'd make it 22.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, yes, that's right. That is... Oh, yeah, so actually that is an 18 to hit, not 20 to hit. So shield does glance off the blow.
Whoop, whoop.
Thank you, Airthunder. So you watch as Listen brings up the shield just barely in time. The fire splintering off of the swirling, sickly green runes of aberrant force that appear before her, and then the fire dissipating into nothing. You hear the druid snarl and then throw her head back as she howls an unearthly, terrible cry as she raises her staff that you can see is now glowing with a thick, rippling green energy. Faces down toward you, but that is the end of her turn. You watch as one of the blights steps back, and actually the druid will do so as well. Or no, she won't. As the blight kind of like grunts and raises its hands on all sides, and you watch as the black sap drips from it. It throws its head back, letting out a low rumble as you watch as from all around you, grasping roots and vines begin to curl upward, erupting and bursting forth, crawling around the floorboards.
Hold on. Is this the one in the
Yes.
cloud?
Oh, yes. It
Then
does
it
take
needs
damage,
to
right?
survive.
All right, roll damage.
Rolling it. That is 13 damage.
Yeah, it
Wow.
doesn't survive. You watch as it like raises its hands. You watch as like little roots and twigs beginning to sprout, but the sides slash wickedly, glinting through the air, and the blade is torn to pieces before they can become much more than that.
Don't try it.
You watch us
Alright.
marching forward through the empty gap now left. You can see the remaining Vine Blight whip its arm forward and then turning toward Lillison, seeing her shield shimmering in the air, turn instead toward Kiva, now freed from the vine, and whip its entangling limb toward her.
When
Also
this
takes
one,
damage, right?
yeah, when this one enters,
Yes, this will take damage as well.
All right, that's 7.
All right, it suffers 7 points of damage.
Got you.
Marches forward entirely blindly, not even caring for its own well-being, and will lash out at Kiva immediately.
All right.
That'll be an 18 to hit.
You know what? No. Airthrindir is going to yell, is going to just no, and kind of cutting words at, don't you dare.
All right, you have to roll for that, right?
I am. That's a 4, so it has a 14 to hit, which does
All
not.
right. You watch for a moment as your words hurl forth, and the thing stumbles for a moment as Kiva surges forward with courage, deflecting the blow, slashing it away with her scimitar. All right. That is the Blight's turn. Amity, you're up.
Okay, yeah, she's just gonna use another classic insult on this guy. Vicious mockery.
All right, go for it.
Let's make another whiz save, or take 3 psychic damage.
All right, that is an 11, which I believe is a failure.
That is correct. So 3 psychic damage and disadvantage on its attack.
It winces, cringing for a moment, and it does have disadvantage on its next attack. Do remind me in case it succeeds. Okay. With that, that is the end of Amity's turn, I believe, unless you have a bonus action.
Nah.
All right, Lillison, you are up.
okay. Lillison, kind of shaking out her left hand, is going to ready the dagger in her right hand and try to give it a big old stab.
All right, go for it.
That is a 10 to hit.
A 10, unfortunately, does not hit. As you slice forward through the air, you're swept off balance for a moment, and its bulky limb comes up and catches your wrist, twisting it slowly as its dead eyes stare into you, the sides curling around it, and it slowly tries to pull your wrist into this swirling cloud of sharp edges, but you struggle free for a moment. But the attack does not connect.
Okay, I would like to free action spit at this thing, and that's my turn.
All right. The spit kind of lands right atop its left brow and just slowly trickles down over its dark, hollow eye. All right. That is the end of your turn. Earthendeer, you're up.
Earthendeer is going to kind of say to Lillison, "Hey, is that druid still there?"
Yes, she is.
All right, let's fix that. And with a wicked smile, he's going to begin to sing the same song, and cast dissonant whispers. If she is within 60 feet and can hear me, she needs to make a whiz save.
Really? It's not limited by sight?
It's sound.
Hot damn. Yeah. That is a wisdom saving throw?
Yep. DC 12.
All right, give me that spell card. Oof, that's a 10.
Okay, so that is going to be 15 psychic damage.
Jesus Christ. Lillison, you watch as the druid doubles over from her place, crashed up the table, like slipping and almost falling onto the ground, crouching in a fetal position as she screams in pain. You watch as red blood begins to drip from her cheeks as her fingernails dig deep into her skin, dragging through there. The blood-curdling shriek echoing through the corridor. And as she slowly, breath heaving, chest shuddering, pulls herself back up, you see long bits of blood dripping from her eyes as she, panting, eyes wide, bloody teardrops falling down her face, scrambles back, struggling into the corner beneath the contraption there. Because I believe she does have to retreat, right?
Yep, up to her speed. She uses a reaction.
All right. That is the end of Earthrendeer's turn.
Yes.
Metron, you're up.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm gonna attempt to shoot the blight that's got Kiva entangled.
All right, it will have 3/4 cover, but go for it.
15. Oh wait, no, it's the wrong one. Sorry. 19.
Oh,
19
damn.
minus 5, so that's 14. That will hit. Roll damage. And do you get sneak attack? Or no, you don't. You do get sneak attack for this.
Yeah,
Yes.
shoot him within 5 feet.
Go for it.
My boy.
4 piercing plus 4 sneak attack, so 8 total.
Nice.
All right, the bolt carves right across the left side of its face, and you watch as it actually tears open the left side of the head, leaving these wriggling vines that kind of wiggle helplessly in the air, trying to connect to each other as the half top of its face kind of lolls, sagging off to one side.
Yeah, that'll be my turn.
All right, very good.
Does it look like it's kind of staggered a bit at all, or?
Oh yes, it's looking like there are carved wounds all across its body, the black sap dripping from several places. It's like stumbling forward, and you can see that it's surrounded, caught off guard on all sides.
Very good.
All right, Kiva's up next.
All right. She is going to think better of trying to reach into the daggers to shock and grasp that thing, and instead pulls her scimitar from her side, and with a quick, elegant motion, tries to thrust it forward to sever this thing in two.
All right, go for it.
That is a 13 to hit.
13 will indeed hit.
All right, for 4 slashing damage.
Beautiful.
And that is her turn.
All right. You watch as she carves across the thing, splitting it in twain and causing it to slide to the floor, the vine slackening and collapsing into a miserable, muddy mess on the ground.
Okay.
With that,
Excellent.
Lillison, you watch as the druid kind of scrambles up, wiping the blood away from her eyes, snarling. And she fixes her gaze upon you and snarls, "Die!" And she leaps forward, snarling, bounding on all fours toward you, then lifts up a hand, glancing toward Kiva. A wild feral smirk on her face, raises her hand to the air, and chants a word of power. And a thunderous blast of force sweeps out from her palm. I need both Kiva and Lillison to make a Constitution saving throw.
Oh
Shit.
boy, my favorite.
Everybody's favorite.
That is a 19 on my con save,
That
somehow.
is a 16 on Kiva's con save.
Nice.
All right.
Ooh, now Amity's ability is going to get to trigger.
Yeah.
Really? I don't know what.
Yep.
That will be
Yes.
Don't keep us in suspense.
5 points of thunder damage to each of Kiva and Lillison.
Okay. Lillison is going to proc the ability that Amity gave her as, the thunder damage racks through her body. She's just going to maintain eye contact with the druid and say, "You first."
All right.
Amazing.
Snarling at that, you watch as she brings up her quarterstaff, still blazing with green energy, and eyes fixated on Lillison, hurls herself into the air, into the cloud of daggers. Roll damage for that, Airthundir.
Oh boy.
And
Linus?
Lillison should roll d6 force damage for the revenge damage from Amity's ability as ethereal quills shoot through the air into the druid.
Yes, thank you. I was about
that's a
to
cool
ask.
combo.
That is 2 damage from Amity's ability.
And 13 from the daggers.
All
With
right,
the
you watch
sides.
as she launches herself forward, arms outstretched, long yellowed nails so twisted and sharp as to seem like claws piercing through the air as her bark-like skin twists and glints in the gray light. And then the sighs and the quills fall upon her, and she is torn apart in a shower of blood and gore until what collapses on the ground is barely recognizable as anything more than mincemeat. Unmoving.
Fucking hell.
Kisses.
I think I'm gonna throw up.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah. Excuse me a minute. And he's just going to rush past Metreon.
Same.
Well, at least now your job of messing up the room looks extra convincing.
Yeah.
Amity's popping open this door. You should get away from it.
All right. Amity opening the door. You see beyond what looks to be a small bedroom, perhaps. This one, it just seems to have 2 pairs of bunk beds, and against the wall you see resting 4 identical footlockers. And thankfully, the stench of gore is not quite so prevalent here, but as you inhale again, you can feel it slowly drifting through the air toward you.
For bookkeeping purposes, in case it somehow matters, there's 7 rounds left on the porcupine revenge thing. But
Thank
she's
you.
Very good.
stuff her face
Thank
into
you.
a pillow.
Metron will go into the same room.
Lillison is going to stay where she is, both hands clenched, just breathing really hard. She's probably going to exchange a few silent glances with Kiva, but as Serena isn't here, we'll just let them have a very silent moment.
Yeah. Earthendeer is going to kind of step into the room and kind of face gone pale and just put his hands on his knees and slump down. It's kind of an afterthought. He yells, "Should I take away the sides?" Or not yells. He's just going to lean out in the hallway and dispel the cloud and then just slump to the floor.
Well, I ain't never seen nothing like that before. I know it's a stupid question to ask if you're alright, Amity, but, yeah.
Oh, are we going to go to jail?
Not if I can help it.
Oh my god.
Self-defense and all that.
I don't think asking the rest of them to let us go is on the table anymore. She's saying this to sort of just take her mind off of, thinking about recent events.
If you want to be optimistic, we could stay optimistic. But yeah, I'd say we're in this now, aren't we?
We're never going in another building ever again, ever.
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't think you just Kiva kind of holds up a hand sheepishly. I'm not sure you might find the woods quite as welcoming, love. Might want to reconsider that. But I understand your, yes. Sorry.
We probably made a lot of noise just now. There might be other trees coming.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. So we should probably get a move on, yeah.
I'm following you.
I've been following you. Oh. But yeah, just stay behind me then. Where's Truffle at?
Truffle
that's
boinks from Amity's pack.
Oh, how'd you even get back in there? Okay, well, I guess he's here.
All right, let's be quick about it. Be quiet about it as much as we can be. And Metron will start to go out and go down the hall that he saw Lillison heading down towards. And as he does, like, he kind of presses himself up against the wall as to avoid getting gore on his boots.
All right. Kiva will nod and move to follow. Is Lillison just standing there waiting?
Lillison is standing here, kind of staring at the remains, not in horror so much as just fascination. She looks up when Metron comes by and she says, "She was trying to find something in that room. I wonder what it was."
You want to go ahead and look?
Well, if you don't want to.
Listen, love, there's a bleeding pile of blood and guts and twigs and vines. I'm a little shaken up right now. I've been shaken up for the past 5-6 days we've been here. So no, I don't want to look.
All right. I see you're not one of those sort of people who... Anyway. She also delicately steps around the mess on the floor to step into this room.
All right. You can see within, the desk, the chair, the cabinet, and the strange contraption. Glancing around, you remember the druid appeared to have been rooting through the cabinet's contents, a number of items haphazardly tossed on the floor.
What kind of items do they seem to be?
The items on the ground just appear to be a number of small, unnotable items. There seems to be a few bits of parchment, a few jars of what looks like a white glue-like substance that's kind of oozing across the ground. A few other minor items. You see a broom and a dustpan lying across the ground, scattered, the broom snapped in half. Along the ground, though, there's not much of interest.
Okay. She is going to take one of the pots of glue, if there are any that are not broken.
Yes, there are 2 jars of glue that are unbroken.
Okay. She'll take both.
All right.
Nice.
Glancing inside the cabinet, you also see what seems to be hanging on a loop of twine, a small bronze key.
Lillison will look at that, and then just note that it exists and turn back towards the door.
Well, you find anything?
Some glue might be useful later. There is a key in there, in case we find a lock that needs one later.
Well, shouldn't we take it now and, just in case we find that lock while we're down somewhere and we don't have to run back up?
I suspect it might actually belong to the chest that we already wrecked, but...
Oh,
but
well
sure.
then, I mean, just take it just to be careful. And,
I suppose,
we
yes.
could just say that we found a key on this here splattered druid.
Yes, of course. And, expression's still a little bit wooden. She's gonna go and take it, and then step carefully outside again.
You can
Should
actually see
we-
that interspersed in the pile, there's actually little bits of the bark-like skin that have kind of flecked off and been torn and crunched and, kind of reduced to kindling. But you can actually see what appears to be the outline of the back of a hand, just made in bark and splattered with red blood, that you kind of just have to nimbly shift your foot away to avoid stepping on.
Lillison's own hand flexes a little bit as she sees it, and then she forcibly clenches it and says, "Should we check the other doors?"
What are you mean the one that's out of the kitchen?
The one that you're not so far away from?
Oh, you mean the one that Kiva's in front of?
Is she? And she's gonna peek around the corner. I can't actually see.
Oh, sorry.
from my-
Metron will go to the door, but he'll press his ear against it first to see if there's nothing behind it.
All right, this is the one that Kiva's near?
Yes.
All right, make a perception check.
Ooh.
That's going to be a 19.
Very good. You press your ear up against it and hear nothing. Just silence.
He'll back up a little bit and kind of tap the handle just to make sure that it's not warm or heated or anything like that, or there's nothing on it. Does it feel like it's locked or unlocked?
Unlocked.
Okay, so once he confirms that there's nothing on it or no fire behind it or something, just to be careful, he will turn the knob and enter.
All right. You can see the room beyond, a similar structure to the one that Amity entered, just a pair of bunk beds and against the wall resting 4 identical footlockers. In this room, you can see a few toys scattered about, one of which seems to resemble a child's wooden rocking horse, though the horse is black with wild eyes and painted orange flames where its mane, tail, and hooves should be.
Metron will sigh. He's actually going to just take a quick look out of the window to see if the Blight squad outside has changed it at all.
You see that they've slowly begun to filter back to what you presume were their original hiding places. You can see a few stragglers in the space around it, but you can certainly see that they're still there. They don't seem to have left the vineyard, just got a little further away and kind of distributed themselves.
He'll take note of it and then head back with the party.
At this point, Erthrindir rejoins them. His eyes kind of downcast and streaks of blood in his hair. What now?
Is
we
that
were-
blood?
What?
Sorry, is that blood from?
It's hers, yes. He is not looking at you.
Yeah, if you need help getting over this, Amity, let me know. I'll help you out.
Emily's gonna walk into the room.
Well, y'all find anything?
No, not yet. Just
Good.
kids' rooms.
All right.
If we wish to find more of them, we may want to go take the other route. I did hear somebody from that other side.
Yeah. Though we need to keep it one at a time. We did pretty well that time, but if we're going to do that again, we need to try and split up their forces as much as possible.
Those blades you produced were excellent.
Yeah, thanks. I actually came up with it myself a few days ago, actually. Glad to hear they worked.
Can you do it more times? There should be 4 more of them.
I can do it once. After that, one more time. After that, we're down to my other spells and cantrips. So we're going to have to find another strategy.
Right. Well,
although, I don't know. Maybe this isn't. Maybe we don't need to be doing this. This is. No, we gotta. God, we're neck deep in it right now. It would be an insult to what we've done so far to stop now, frankly.
An insult to
Yeah, I'm
who?
with you. He very pointedly looks at the mess splattered across that tile.
Yeah, I only care about. I don't care about insulting anybody else outside of this room right now. So don't let that be a motivator.
listen,
He nods.
we're going to need to all get out of this alive.
Yeah,
I would prefer to get out of it alive and not leaving any living enemies behind us.
Yep, that's why wise. Let's go then. Let's get this done. Let's get this over with.
Yeah. No time like the present, right?
Sadly. Amity, what sort of magic have you got in the tank?
I think I've got one more. Kiva, do you still have the inspiration?
She nods. Still do. Though we should probably do something with it pretty quickly.
Right. Well, I have one more of those, and I have some spells that I haven't used yet. A little bit of healing. Some. I guess if you just want me to list them, I could. But
Just if there's anything that can hit from far away, besides the very good, but the very good insults.
I think that's the only thing I have that can hit from far away.
All right, so you're best off at engaging a bit closer or being farther towards the front. Good to know.
That is not good to know.
Look, we're doing something. Okay, point. Whatever, but thank you. That does help.
DM, can I try to listen again to see if I can hear where another one of them is?
I mean, is there anywhere in particular you're listening for? Are you spending like a good 5 minutes or so listening for any indication of things? What are you doing?
Probably not like a good 5 minutes or so, just like putting my ears to the walls, to the floor, if like I did last time.
In this current location, I'll allow it. Make a perception check.
Sure, I will have to reload the page though. So
That's fine.
As Metro's been kind of keeping quiet while the two of them were discussing, but and he's not attempting to hide it, but he's looking at Earthendir, specifically like the blood on his face and his hair, and he's just got this look of just like stank disgust on him.
Earthendir meets his gaze, and for once there's no defensiveness in his eyes. He just kind of nods.
You gonna clean it up?
Right, shit, I forgot. And he's going to kind of frantically start scrubbing away at that. Sorry, I must have.
kind of something to forget in it. You know, blood and ichor on your hair and face like that.
9 on the perception check.
He keeps scrubbing. Do you have a point, or are you just being vile to make yourself feel better?
Maybe a little bit of both.
Well, that's on brand for you, so I respect it. He's going to finish cleaning himself up.
All right,
What'd you get,
Amity. Yep, what's your perception check?
9.
9. You listen, you're straining, you can't hear anything else?
Great, I'll report. I don't hear any other ones nearby.
Good.
All right. Well,
Let's
there
head
was
down
the,
this path then.
there was the giggling from the other door we didn't open, or there's something unknown down this way.
Let's get rid of the giggling. I don't feel like dealing with that from behind.
All right. Shall I go first again?
You
You
did swim in
Kiva.
there last time, so
Yeah. Just be careful.
She nods, and not really meeting any of their eyes, she is going to head down the corridor.
Yep, Bertha Deer will follow after her.
All right.
Amity lingers to look at the dead body and shiver before following. She will expend a use of Bardic Inspiration real quick.
Ooh.
All right, Metron, what's your passive perception? Same for Kiva.
my passive is
Kiva's is 13, right? I believe.
Yes.
All right.
mine is
Metro?
only 11.
All right. So Kiva, but not Metron. Metron, you see as she kind of perks up and then stiffens for a moment. I just heard a door open and close behind us. I'm not sure. I don't know if anyone. I don't hear footsteps.
Maybe it's someone invisible.
Or one of those blight nasties.
Yeah, but they would be footsteps, right?
Probably.
I don't think anyone's following us, but I think we do have to be careful. I don't know if we can be assured that our backs are so safe as they are. So let's just keep an eye out, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's go.
Hey, Kiva, you're kind of perceptive, right? Maybe if we keep Lil in the front and you in the back, that way we've got kind of both ends, keen ears and all that.
Right, of course. Not a problem. All right, and the group of you following Lillison can make your way through the corridor as you'd like.
Yep.
You proceed forth into the dining room and kitchen together, passing by the stone staircase. As Lillison, are you proceeding forth into the other door?
Lillison's going to stop and listen at the door before she tries to open it.
All right, make a perception check.
That is a 13 perception.
You hear nothing.
All right, Lillison's going to shake her head a little bit and summon up her mage hand again and slowly open the door.
All right. The door is unlocked and slowly creaks open if you'd like to open it. You can just see a
Alright.
dim, dark corridor, unlit save for the light trickling in from this chamber, leading forth to the east. And as you peer out, you can see just a single door at the very end of the hallway, closed.
Okay. Lillison is going to step forward just so Earthrendir can also come in.
Yep, he shall.
And then she's going to send her mage hand forward to open the door from a distance.
All right. If you'd like to open that one as well. It slowly creaks open, and you can just faintly see. Are you opening it the whole way, or just enough to kind of peek through?
Just enough to peek through.
All right. You can just faintly see what appears to be a wooden floor chamber with what seems to be a large hole cut into the center of it that you can't see how wide or how far it goes. You can just faintly see a a long rope hanging from what seems to be a winch or a crane of some sort that kind of descends down into the hole below. And as you watch, you can just faintly hear the winch suddenly creak and groan, bobbing as if something is weighing upon it.
Okay. She's going to cautiously and hopefully stealthily move forward.
Yep. Earth and Deer will follow.
All right. Make a stealth check.
All right.
11 stealth.
All right.
17 stealth.
Is this all of us or just those two?
Anyone who's making their way forward.
Metron will go begrudgingly.
All right. Oof.
Truffle oinks a lot as Amity rolls a 3.
15.
22 from Kiva, who continues to be the anchor even in her absence.
Even standing on the table, no one hears her.
All right. Well, listen. As you quietly creep forward, the others around you moving stealthily in your wake, do you move all the way to the door?
Gonna stop 5 feet away from the door first, see if anything happens, and if not, then all the way to the door.
All right. Nothing seems to happen immediately.
Okay.
You step closer to the door and peer through, your eye slipping through the crack that you've opened. And as you peer through, you immediately see that the room itself as a whole seems to have a wooden floor with a 10-foot square hole cut into the middle. Looming over the hole is a wooden winch. As you peer through, you can just see the silhouette that slowly resolves in the gray light into the figure perched atop it of a man with wild hair, rotted teeth, and skin painted red with blood. He whirls toward you, eyes open wide, waving a gnarled staff made of a black branch and babbling at you. Meets your eyes directly. And that's where we'll end for tonight.
Oh,
Oh no, I don't like
oh
that.
boy.
Yay.
Don't die.
We're gonna get killed by a bunch of hippies.
I mean,
Okay,
hippies drenched in blood, I suppose.
I mean, it sounds like hippies to me.
Well, that was fun. Thanks,
That
Dragon.
combat went a lot more successfully than I thought it would.
Yeah, for real.
It did. See how this one goes.
Hallway combats are always a little bit samey if you're sort of in the middle of the hallway, though.
Yeah, but we got some good
kinda.
damage and attack rolls in though.
How many of those second level spell slots does Earthendeer have left?
1.
All right, so
yeah, he pulls that trick once more.
yeah, that's fair. All right, so I think that's all we got for today. So thank you to everyone for joining the stream this fine, spooky Halloween. Hopefully you all have an excellent holiday. Stay safe, stay well, and stay spooky, of course. As always, we will see you back in the mists next Saturday. Until then, do beware of bleeding trees and living wood, and take care.
Boo!
Boo.